Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mythos podcast. Thank you for joining us. This is the very first episode. It's just us, couple of guys that just want to talk about random stuff. I am Jingles Roscoe.
I am Smiter Roscoe.
With us, we have the illustrious Pie Man.
Yes, you do, and you should be thankful that you do.
Pie Man, thank goodness you're here.
No, thank goodness you're here.
I'm kidding. I'm just a dumb nerd here to talk about dumb nerd stuff.
That's pretty much what the podcast is going to be. And
speaking of other nerds,
we have super secret hidden boss of the apartment, Josh.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I can't wait to talk about the game last night. those are some sick plays.
Those are some really good plays.
Yes. You also watched the sports ball event.
Yes, of course, the sports ball. No, today, this being our first episode, and yesterday, all of us having watched the newest Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, we did.
This is going to be a Star Wars episode. I wanted to provide a little bit of non-spoiler information at the beginning of the episode, and then eventually we'll talk about stuff that happened both in The Mandalorian and in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So, to start off everything, I wanted all of us to just kind of give a little bit of backstory on our personal adventure with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where we got into Star Wars.
Yeah.
How we feel about Star Wars. And how our feelings about Star Wars have fluctuated throughout the years.
Like our favorite stuff about Star Wars, our least favorite stuff about Star Wars. I'm gonna, if it's okay, I'm gonna start off by talking about the earliest just general group question. What's your earliest memory of Star Wars? And for me, I can't even name the city. I can't even name the theater. I can't even name the guy that we were hanging out with at the time. It was one of Mom's friends. And we got invited to watch Star Wars. And I must have been like 6, maybe 5. And for the longest time, I defended myself on this point. It was like, I watched A New Hope when it came out. And I'm not nearly that old. So I didn't realize it until years later that the original came out in the 70s.
Wait, you mean you weren't born in 77?
I was not born, despite my elvish blood running strong. I am not that old. But I didn't realize it until...
Which one did you say you saw?
A New Hope.
It was A New Hope?
It was A New Hope, and check it out.
Oh, it was during the re-releases.
Exactly.
Okay.
I didn't know until years later that it was a re-release.
Okay.
And so I watched it for the first time, and the clearest thing I can remember, and I was enjoying the film all the way up to a specific point, and that specific point took me from this is neat to this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was when Han and Chewie are in the cockpit, and Han says, alright, let's punch it. And then they kick it up into hyperspace for the first time. The moment, you know when it goes from and it kicks off from behind the Millennium Falcon? Well, when I was a kid, when it went and kicked off and the Millennium Falcon became a speck in the distance, the back of my head blew off and my brain matter was just smattered on everybody behind me because it blew my mind that there was anything like this. And literally, years after the fact, like maybe a year, 2 years after that, I would just quietly revisit that moment in my mind because it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, was the jump to hyperspace. And just the way it was shot, and just like, it's such, like, I get pumped every single time they do it in a new movie, because, like, it's just the way that the stars stretch backwards, and it, like, defies physics, and then it just, boom, and then you're off. You're off on another great-ass adventure, wherever it goes.
Even to this day, like, I still get a little rise whenever I see something go into or out of hyperspace.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's great. What about you, bro?
Easily, like, I can't remember a whole lot from early childhood, but I know that we watched Star Wars a lot growing up. We had I think it was 97
Yeah.
VHS re-releases
Yeah.
that came out.
Yeah.
We owned those.
Yeah.
And we watched those a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever actually seen unedited versions of the original trilogy. I have since gone back and seen like scene comparisons and stuff of the unedited versus what they added in later re-releases and stuff. But definitely the original trilogy was something that I remember watching a lot growing up. And then when the prequels came out, I remember, I don't know if we actually watched episode 1 in theaters, but we did watch episode 1 a lot. But I do remember very specifically going to watch Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith both in theaters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember watching those as they came out. And then obviously been watching everything that I can since then.
Sure. Yeah.
And how about you guys?
Well, similarly to Smiter, I got into Star Wars really early on, like maybe like 6 or 7, and yeah, like that movie was like life changing to me.
It was so good.
It was like that movie also, like, because I also started with episode 4, and that, yeah, like you said, just completely blew my kid mind that movies could be like that.
Yeah.
Star Wars is something that's definitely stuck with me for like years, like even to like now, like to this day, it's still probably like one of, if not my most favorite, like franchise.
Yeah. No, Josh, you're only blindly optimistic to it. You only no, I'm just messing with you. Ew, right?
Yeah, I know we had the special edition box set. I don't know if you guys had it since you also saw the special edition. The one that farts whenever you close it.
I remember. It had that, it was the really smooth plastic case.
Yeah.
And the cases that the VHSs were in were also very smooth. So when you put it together, it always had to shove the air out of it.
That's right. Yeah.
It was like the black and gold box.
Yeah, that's right. And it had the I don't know, the like the risen sides of it, so it's like a semi 3D Vader helmet that you can like rub, and it's like it's real.
Yeah, those were the VHSs that we had as a kid that we saw them in, and we got so much mileage out of those VHSs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Of course, I too was not born in '77, so I couldn't have seen the original trilogy in theaters. Regrettably, yes. I did catch all 3 prequel movies in theaters, and I have now caught all 3 sequel movies in theaters now.
All right, nice.
Like, I still remember way back when I was like a younger kid when we went to go see Phantom Menace in theaters.
Yeah.
And I also remember briefly missing some of the scene at the end when the Gungans are like fighting the droids.
Yeah.
I remember really as a kid needing to like go to the bathroom at that moment, so we missed like a big chunk of that battle.
Yeah.
And then we caught it when my grandma recorded it on TV for us with her VHS, and we rewatched it at home. And then we finally got to see what we missed.
Yeah.
Turns out we didn't actually miss that much.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you don't know how essential that battle is.
It's very essential.
I think the only thing we really missed was Jar Jar just being like, "Misa no have no boma."
Here, take on this one. Yeah. Those are good times.
And then from that day on, I learned to just go to the bathroom before the movie.
Yeah.
I still have not completely learned this secret Jedi technique. It must be a dark side technique.
All right, Pine, your turn.
Well, I think, the first time I ever saw Star Wars, that was, I want to say it was 97. Denver, Colorado. We rented it was the very first VHS trilogy release. And we watched them all, I think, over the course of a weekend. And yeah, it all went south from there.
Yep.
Yeah, it became a one of the many passions of my my childhood life.
Yes.
I think I consumed every piece of Star Wars media I could get my hands on from then on out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it's been amazing, and in hindsight, a lot of it's really dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, I love the EU as much as anyone else, but there's some stuff there that doesn't need to come back.
That's the best part, though.
Yeah.
Stuff that doesn't need to come back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man, absolutely. Okay, so now that we've kind of established where we started,
I don't know. What's some of your favorite stuff about Star Wars? EU included, anything?
no, actually, I was
Well, we're sorry. Yeah.
thinking more appropriately, like, how are you feeling about the Star Wars series currently, and where it sits currently, firm in the cold, icy grip of Disney Corporation?
Oh, well, just really quick, going back to Pie-Man's origin story about sorry, when you were a kid, did you immediately look up at the Empire and we're all like, "That's it, that's it, that's the tops. It's never
So
gonna go."
when
You're like, "I want to be those guys."
that's no moon, that's a space station.
Yeah.
As soon as it comes into focus, I went, "What is that?" And when they land in the Death Star hangar in the Falcon, and I see the polished black, the slate gray,
Yes.
the soft geometric,
Yes.
I was like, I want one of those.
It's so, like, sterile.
The Executor,
so clean.
yeah, exactly. The sterility of it was just really cool. And the Executor, the Super Star Destroyer,
Yes.
that was the greatest ship I had ever seen in anything ever. It's like an entire continent, but it's a spaceship.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the size of regular ships to Star Destroyers are that size to the Super Star Destroyer.
That's right. So, yeah, sorry, back to what you were talking about, like how we feel about Star Wars right now.
Right.
And for me, I've always been something of a nihilistic like a nihilistic optimist, where it's like I like what's coming out. Like, I appreciate that there's still like this level of fun. Look, nothing's ever really gonna top the absolute, like, the absolute importance of the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's fair to say that, like, Star Wars is ruined now. Like, Star Wars has always had its ups and downs, just throughout the entirety of the EU and video games and in other media and stuff. Clone Wars is great, but I'm sure Clone Wars isn't always batting 1,000. So, no, it's like you're shaking your head.
Not
You're
even
like, no,
close. Not even remotely close to batting 1,000.
What do you mean it's not perfect?
But at this point, it's sort of like I've accepted it, warts and all. Like, I'm always like, there's gonna be parts of Star Wars that I'm gonna look at and be like, I don't really feel like getting into that. Like, right now, I don't really care about Rebels or Resistance. But I really liked Rogue One, and I really got into Rogue One. And I didn't much care for Solo. But that's the insane greatness about Star Wars, is that it's so big. That it's big enough to this point where you can absolutely just cherry pick your personal experience with it and how much you're enjoying it. I like it. I like where it's at. I'm sure there'll be plenty of flops in the future. I'm sure there'll be plenty of new highs that we didn't anticipate before.
Oh yeah, Disney shells out, what was it, $4 billion for the franchise?
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
no way they're done milking it.
No,
they're gonna take this to the ends of the earth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've also had to kind of come to grips with the fact that we're probably never going to capture the magic that the original trilogy kind of brought us.
No, you're never gonna be 8-year-old you again watching Star Wars for the first time. It's not gonna happen again.
Yeah.
As much as any of us would want that to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm still fine with the movies that we've gotten so far, like, flaws and all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, like, the sequel trilogy definitely sits kind of right in the middle, sandwiched between the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy in terms of, like, quality.
Josh, the prequel trilogy is good now. It's the best thing ever.
Didn't you hear about that?
People are fooling themselves if they think the prequels were ahead of their time.
In the late aughts and the early teens, we hated the prequel trilogies because it ruined Star Wars. But now it's been long enough that it's funny, so we like it now.
There's
Just
a new
because-
thing that's ruining Star Wars, so we have to hate on that and forgive what was before.
Yeah, just because it's memes doesn't make it good.
Exactly.
According to the internet, that is exactly what that means.
Well, you don't just put on a little oxygen mask and open up your meme tank from time to time. That's not how you're still alive. That's how I'm still getting through
I'm
it.
still gonna defer back to Josh because he was already being kind enough to answer like what do you feel about Star Wars right now.
Yeah. Like I'm optimistic enough.
Yeah.
Like I like the good bits of like the new movies are bits that I really like, and there are flaws in a lot of those movies, but I guess it's not enough to really ruin it, I suppose.
Right. Yo, Revan when?
Yep. Revan Wendell.
Unfortunately, probably never.
Probably never.
As we all like take a turn and forlornly look at Josh's awesome Revan figure.
Yeah.
No, Revan's still canon. We could get something with Revan in it.
Yeah, that Revan figurine was probably would have been worth some money if I'd kept it in its box, but let's be real, I'm probably never going to sell it. I might as well pose it on my table.
I'm not selling any of my action figures. I don't care.
That's right. Your big Mace Windu?
My big Mace Windu.
Yeah.
I don't own any that are worth selling.
Specifically from when Attack of the Clones came out.
Oh yeah, the one with the big dumb smiley face.
Yeah.
He's just so happy.
I'll ask the dark-hearted Dark Lord amongst us. How do you feel about Star Wars?
I think.
I'm sorry the Empire's gone.
I know.
I mean...
I'm only being sympathetic towards him. I'm actually super happy the Empire's gone.
Oh.
Well, the Empire's been gone for a long time. It used to be called the Remnant.
Oh! Yes!
And now it's the First Order.
Yes, they were the Remnant, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they used to be known.
Yeah.
So, to be real, I think I have simply come to terms with the fact that media in general is always going to be a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Regardless of the franchise. Anything that has multiple entries in its mythos. We have a title.
Roll credits.
Roll credits!
Anything that falls within its mythos, if it has multiple entries, something is going to be not up to snuff. It's just going to happen. It's the roll of the dice.
Yeah.
That being said, I still love Star Wars. I still like Star Wars. And I'm not a huge fan of the latest trilogy. I think it's got a ton of problems. But there also is stuff in it that I do enjoy. And I think the biggest problem I have with the films is that I know they could have been so much better.
Fair enough. And we're definitely going to get into that later.
Oh, yeah. When we get into spoilers.
Or at least I feel they could have been so much better.
I feel like Star Wars' like strongest thing they have going for it at this point is less Star Wars as its story and more the setting of Star Wars. It's such a ubiquitous setting, as we've seen with shows like The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like you can take like an original story, set it in that universe, and then that kind of really helps boost it along.
Yeah.
Just come up with a planet, give it a single biome.
Yeah.
That's where you need to go. Just have your protagonists go to different planets.
What is your opinion on single biome planets?
So,
I don't know, Mustafar's pretty cool.
Mustafar's pretty great. I really don't appreciate how reasonable everybody's being right now. We all need to just start straight on with like, no, Star Wars is bad now.
Yeah, Star Wars is awful.
Should I twist the valve to hot a little bit?
A little bit.
Shall I go get my matches and my kindling?
We're being all just too reasonable right now, everyone.
All right, bro, you need to make it unreasonable.
I'm sorry.
You
Give us an unreasonable hot take.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
So how I feel about
with Star Wars.
where I'm at with
Yes.
Star Wars, I have decided shortly after The Last Jedi came out, and now that this new movie's out, my opinion remains the same. I love all the Star Wars movies. I love all of them, even the bad ones.
What a bold take.
What a hot take.
All right, well, we can't be friends anymore, so I'm just going to go home
Well, you've
now.
personally offended me now.
You can have my mace.
Good. I love that big smiley face.
He looks like
so
he's in
big.
agony.
I'm pretty
It
sure...
depends on which side of the face you look at.
What
Actually,
part of the movie
though.
did they cap that face from?
He never once smiled into.
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure he grinned in one of them once.
I don't think so.
I don't
It was
remember.
right after he killed Django.
I was gonna say-
and his head rolled over.
I was
and he
gonna
looked
say,
right at the camera
halfway-
and went, yeah,
halfway through swinging, it's just a screenshot of him going,
yeah.
And then he turns, he just does that big dumb grin right at Boba.
yeah. As Boba's holding his father's decapitated
So
head.
check it out. Check it
There's a
out.
cutscene where he comes back later.
Check it
As
out.
he picks up the helmet and the head just kind of...
So when I watched that for the first time with my older brothers, and we were talking about it afterwards, every single one of my older brothers made that joke. It was all like, "Hey, look, what if the head fell out?" And I'm like, "No, no, Django's really cool."
Django
And then
was
Boba
really cool.
continued to be an angry boy in Clone Wars.
Yeah, he did. He's just a little angry boy. He's not even cool.
Oh, that's too bad.
Anyway,
Yes,
but yes, I love all the movies for what they do with the Star Wars universe for different reasons.
yeah.
I have come even before everybody started like suddenly jumping on the prequels as like not as bad as we all said that they were.
Oh, hipster alert. Put on your fedora.
Uh,
Wax that mustache.
Get your emergency fedoras.
Absolutely. Everybody now is like, oh, the prequels weren't that. No, the prequels are terrible, terrible films. But there's a lot of stuff about them that I have always loved and will still love about them.
I'll admit, even though I also acknowledge the prequels are not that great, I'm pretty sure I watched Phantom Menace probably 20 times.
So let's highlight a couple of things. Sorry, so we're baseline. We all agree prequels not great.
Guilty pleasure movies.
Guilty pleasure movies. So let's highlight some really cool parts in these terrible movies. The first thing that comes to me is that first moment when like Padme and all the soldiers are like, they're like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna get out of here, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna totally slap on those separatists, and then Darth and Darth Maul is just there. He's just there.
Oh, and then he holds up his stick,
Yeah.
and then one blade comes out, and then another blade comes out.
You know, it's great because
You could do that?
yeah.
What?
As a kid, I'm sitting there and I'm all like, because like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon both, they both light up, and like,
They don't even hesitate.
yeah,
No, they don't.
No, because that's their training.
Yeah,
They're
they just go
warriors.
for it.
They're ready to roll.
They don't even have to speak. They just
No,
know they're
no.
gonna fight.
Yeah, and like, so when he pops out that first blade, I'm all, like, as a kid, as a dumb, stupid child, I'm all like, oh, he's only got one. What's he gonna do? And then the second one pops out, and I'm all like, no, it's all over.
It was the coolest thing ever.
It was the coolest.
As
thing.
long as you don't think about it for too long.
I
You
did.
start to go, wait, a bow staff that can cut anything? Ooh, that wouldn't work very well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like the lightsaber staff would be like way more dangerous to yourself than it would be to your opponent.
No, guys, shut up! It's the coolest thing ever.
It
He
is the
pops
coolest.
out two blades.
I mean, to be fair, all lightsabers are basically the most dangerous thing
They
ever,
are.
and
They're
no one
super
could ever
dangerous.
wield them properly.
They're
Nope.
super dangerous, and the double-bladed one is even more dangerous.
The only thing we're missing is like lightsaber chucks.
Yes.
That exists, though.
I was
so-
gonna say,
Think of a saber weapon, it exists. There's
Well,
saber axes.
there was the guy with like the lightsaber bodysuit.
yeah.
Oh boy, that was
Oh,
intense.
no!
Yep.
So
Oh, no!
another super cool thing in the prequels. What are you feeling? What are you feeling?
No, just
like one
the
really-
expansion of the Jedi in general.
Yeah.
As I've grown up and I've watched it again, I'm like, the Jedi are complete buttheads.
Yes.
But, like, Qui-Gon is still my favorite Jedi of all time.
oh yeah,
Qui-Gon Jinn.
yeah.
You really have a thing for Liam Neeson.
He has a thing for Liam Neeson.
want him to be my
I
dad.
do like Liam Neeson a lot. Hey, if if Liam Neeson is listening to the podcast, if you want to be our dad,
That would
hey,
be fantastic.
we can make something happen there.
Yeah, you and our mom are about the same age. It would work.
Yes, she likes you,
She
so
likes you, yeah.
you'd like her.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon Jinn. I just loved him a lot,
Yeah.
and also just like most Jedis with green lightsabers, I don't know if it's because their lightsabers are green,
Yeah.
but it's just been the case that all the Jedis that I've seen in the movies that have green lightsabers, I'm like, that guy's cool.
Yeah.
Is green lightsabers Guardians?
That's blue.
Oh,
Blue.
blue's
Green
Guardians.
is Consular.
Oh, okay,
Consular.
Consular. Okay.
If that still applies
And
at this
yellow
point.
is Sentinel, right?
Yeah, yellow
Sentinel.
Sentinel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. No, that's for later. Sorry, I have to hold my tongue on that one.
Yeah, that was tough.
Oh, that was close.
Purple if you're cool
No,
and
really, I
different.
caught
Yes.
it. It was gonna
Yes.
come out, and then I just sarlacked with my tongue. and
Purple
caught it.
if you're Samuel.
Yeah, 'cause he's special.
He is
Yes.
special. He very special.
Yeah.
You seen him? Oh man, I remember looking at your visual dictionary and how it showed Mace's lightsaber from episode 1,
Yeah,
and how there's a different one
it's
in
completely different.
episode 2
Really?
and beyond,
That's crazy.
because he didn't ignite his lightsaber
That's
in the
right,
first
yeah,
one. He
yeah.
only turned it on in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I saw a clip from a video where Mace Windu is all like, "We are not warriors; we are keepers of the peace," and then it hard cuts to him lopping off Jango's head.
Well,
He was coming right at him.
he was!
according to the lore, didn't Windu use Form 7 lightsaber combat?
According to the lore.
Yeah,
one where
or was
you
it Form
dance
6?
between light and dark.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like the most aggressive and dangerous
Well,
of all the
without
form
hatred.
combat. Yeah.
Yep.
Done by Mace Blood Edge Windu.
Yes.
He's very special and unique.
Punished Mace.
But that was also in the visual dictionary where I found that it was established that only Jedi Masters are allowed to inlay their lightsabers with gold.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that is
what
the
was
thing.
the mineral? The name of the mineral? It wasn't gold.
I don't remember what it
No,
was.
it was like a special like alloy that I think it's like a force or it's like a lightsaber resistant alloy specifically.
I mean, it's just gold.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Well, it looks gold.
what did they call it?
Yeah. Cool, but what do they call
It's gold in the same way this table is gold.
Yes.
Ah.
I see.
So, you two, what are, like, if you could pull, like, just one or even two things in the prequels that you at least, where I was all like, that's still kind of neat.
In all three, like
Yeah.
Any of the three.
the lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin.
That's dope.
That's probably still one of like the best saber fights like in the series.
I would agree.
That was really dope.
Mm.
And the two actors that pulled it off, they almost killed themselves on like how
Yeah.
hard they trained for that fight.
No, all
And they
the
just did
lightsaber
it.
fights, they all use incredible stunt work.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just because Christopher Lee's so old and busted,
Yeah.
he never really did like any saber fighting himself.
Yeah.
So the fact that Hayden and Ewan both
Yeah.
just did it
Yeah.
is
Really impressive.
impressive to me at least.
Yeah.
I like that they explained they had a cover up for why old Chrissy Lee couldn't do like all the crazy stunts. He used Form 2, which
Yep.
was elegant and used simple
Yes,
movements. It
yes.
was like fencing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which,
they
funny enough, I was actually reading. Apparently, like the fact that because Dooku has his like curved lightsaber hilt.
Yeah.
Which is also awesome.
Yeah, which I was reading. Apparently, that's an actual thing in fencing. They're called French grips.
Yep.
Oh.
And it actually does work on a similar principle in that it angles your blade so it's harder to like deflect if you're using like a regular saber.
Okay.
And other people have attested. If you ask anybody in the fencing community who has fought somebody that has a fence or a French grip,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh, screw those guys.
Cheating.
No, he's cheating. So if we're gonna talk about forms real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and
I'm sorry, I can't not.
No,
go for
exactly.
it.
Yes. Yes.
the
Oh, the
reason
best.
why Qui-Gon couldn't defeat Maul,
Yes.
Darth Maul,
Yes.
is he was fighting Maul in the desert. That's the first time that Maul shows up and
Yes.
ignites just one part of his
Yeah, yeah.
lightsaber.
But if
So
you
that-
notice, the handle was really long.
it was really long.
Yeah.
strange.
It was weird, and
wonder
they
what
fought,
that's
and
for.
he held them off like, really well.
Yeah.
And but because they were in the TIE corridors in later on, he can't use his form to the fullest extent because he uses form 4, which
it's just a lot of acrobatics.
There's a lot of acrobatics involved, and it's very dangerous without practicing the previous forms just to learn how to control your lightsaber correctly. Whereas Yoda is also a Form 4 user, and since he's so small, he can use Form 4 to its fullest extent.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why he goes chipmunk mode.
Yeah, that's why he goes full chipmunk. That's why he turns into a tiny blender.
Honestly, I don't know how I feel about Yoda being such an adept like saber fighter. I always kind of felt like he should be more of like an all-powerful Force user.
And you're not the only one who feels that way.
I'm a little bit of that same camp.
A lot of people would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
That was my only problem in Episode 3 when you're cutting between the two duels between like ObiWan and Anakin and then Yoda and Palpatine is like because like Obi-Wan and Anakin, like, their fight was, like, the big explosive, like, saber duel. I kind of wanted Yoda and Palpatine to be, like, a big clashing of, like, force powers.
Oh,
but
you wanted a wizard fight.
Yeah,
I wanted a wizard fight.
And I guess you kind of get that when they're throwing chairs at each other.
Yeah, a little bit.
But, yeah, it's mostly just another saber duel. It's like, I kind of if you're going to cut between the two, it should be one half and then, like, the other.
Let them mirror each other in a way.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
What about you, Pie Man? One thing about the prequel trilogies that you're like, okay, that was still kind of neat.
Honestly, there's a lot. There's a lot of things that I could bring up.
Was it this?
It wasn't that.
Boss Nass choking on his own saliva.
I still want to find who ultimately okayed the 7-foot shrieking frogmen as main characters.
Choking on his own goiter.
I think it was George Whispering Lucas.
No, there had to have been somebody who was just a yes man who was like, yes, we can do that.
George Lucas, like, famously staffed, like, a bunch of yes men on his movies.
Yeah. Well, that's basically where all the problems with the prequels come from.
Yeah.
George Lucas is a great idea guy. He comes up with a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
But he's got to have somebody to reel him in.
Yeah.
Because not everything he comes up with is gold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're friends.
That's just idea guys.
They're called friends.
They're friends.
But if I had to pick one thing from the prequels that I liked, it was at the end of Episode 2 when the clone army arrives on Coruscant, and then Chancellor Palpatine looks out as they all deploy in formation.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
It's a really big moment.
And I was like, those ships look a lot like Star Destroyers.
These clone troopers look a lot like stormtroopers.
Even though they're not.
Uh-oh.
They look a little evil in this lighting.
It's kind of weird.
The dark red clouds and the weird blue glows coming from the ships.
The bad music. I don't mean bad music, I mean evil music.
Yeah. And then the Imperial March wells up. And anytime I hear that in the films, my eyes just glaze over.
And you're like, yes, my Dark Emperor.
And all I can feel is the dark side.
I just thought it was really weird that anytime we watched those moments with you, you were just screaming, "Rebel scum!" So, but while we're still pouring into Star Wars, I don't know how we're gonna maintain this about like just the greatest, like one of our favorite franchises of all time. But one of the things that I appreciate that's the sequel trilogy has done, the new Age of Resistance as it is, is how we sort of managed to remystify the Force. And because in the original trilogy, it was very pseudo-Buddhism. And then in the prequel trilogy, it was like, yo, how big is your number?
Big numbers.
Yeah. Big number.
I also loved that in the original trilogy, Luke had to like grasp angrily at a lightsaber for 10 minutes before it would fly into his hand, but then you get to the prequels and you can just sneeze and clear a hallway.
Oh, sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Well, I guess to be fair, Luke was unconscious for a while and hanging upside down, waiting to be eaten.
Let's not forget, Luke was also a terrible Jedi at that point.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's
Even
kinda
when
trashed
he's
here.
a good Jedi. He doesn't like do that much big crazy stuff.
No.
No,
Not in the
He ain't
movies.
throwing out force pushes.
no, that's true.
They decided not to have him moving a black hole using the Force in the movies. They just relegated that to the books.
No,
Okay. He didn't use battle meditation.
No.
Well, what else? as we're prepping up for now the big discussion.
Are we ready to move on to the big discussion?
Already?
I don't know.
Yeah, it feels
Was
a
there
little bit-
anything else before
Yeah,
we go into
because-
spoily oops territory that you
There's-
guys
I wanted us to now talk about one of our least favorite things about Star Wars.
That's okay.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
that one's easy.
That's
Well,
also
all right.
actually
Yeah.
just like with me. That's going to be very difficult because there's a lot of things I could pick from.
Yes.
So the thing is that and I guess I'll loose parameters for this is it's got to be something that you feel acts as an active, what do you feel is one of the biggest things that is an active detriment to Star Wars? For me personally, it was Metachlorians. Like the
Midichlorians.
moment that they started putting a number on your force ability, now we can scan you and determine just how strong you're going to be in the
They
Force.
put a spawn gauge on everyone.
Yeah.
They did.
I feel like just to play Emperor's Avocado here,
Thank you.
I think midichlorians are only brought up in Phantom Menace, and then they even episodes 2 and 3 kind of ignore it after that, rather than saying looking at Dooku and saying oh, his midichlorian count is super high, he's going to be tough to defeat. They don't really have that.
That's a good point.
You
Yeah,
get
it's
the
a good point.
You get the brief Qui-Gon explaining midichlorians, and then they just drop it.
Yeah, and for me personally, that's a huge detriment, and it
Yeah.
ends up just having implications throughout. That's why it was such a big issue after that movie came out, and people kept bringing up Metachlorians, and I feel like it was a huge active detriment to the series because the ripples of it were felt for a while.
I've never understood whether or not that idea was just something that George wanted to do, or if it was a MacGuffin for them to figure out that Anakin was super powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see, I would have been fine if one time when they're all sitting in the ship and then Anakin starts doing the Force a little bit and then Qui-Gon almost passes out or something. He's all that kid is super strong in the Force. We gotta be.
I also
mindful.
think
That's what the sequels do. They just do.
yeah.
You have a vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it's also in Qui-Gon's explanation of it. I think he also says more that midichlorians aren't the Force, but they're the way I guess people access the Force. But it also doesn't explain what it is fundamentally.
Sure. But that's me. I feel
Not that I'm being a midichlorian apologist, because I also am not fond of the idea either.
yeah. And,
You love the idea of tiny organelles in our cells.
Give me that power scouter.
Specially made for the Force.
That's what it is. It's tiny organelles in your blood that allows you to access the Force.
Yeah,
So
that's
at
what-
the
The more you
least,
have, the stronger you
swab.
are.
I'm just happy they didn't use it to say, oh, it is the Force, because that would be
so much worse.
so much worse. That would be so devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah, the midichlorians are
The
because you're not supposed to be able to understand the Force.
Yeah. And that's one of the coolest things about it was that anybody can be Force sensitive. Anything living can access the Force in varying degrees, and then it takes time and discipline to sort of tease out your greatest potential out of that. And just putting Metachlorians feel like a big step back from that. But that's me. And that's what I felt like was the biggest actor. I'm gonna let you take it over now because you already had one ready in the chamber.
Yes. It's very easy. So first of all, I want to say I am tired and have been for over a decade. I'm tired of all the Jar Jar hate. Honestly. I feel like people always hate on Jar Jar, and people are like, the worst thing about the prequels is Jar Jar Binks.
No.
And I don't think so. I really think that Jar Jar is fine for the movies. And I really liked him as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to watch Attack of the Clones, and I see Jar Jar, and he's all like, "Oh, this is so happy to be seeing you, son." I was happy to see him.
Yeah.
And I think that the big problem, and the thing that kind of makes Phantom Menace almost unwatchable in places, is the kid that plays Anakin.
Fair enough.
His acting is stiff and awful, and
he also got a lot of hate too.
he got a lot of hate,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that also is just, I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, no, to hate on any of the actors is completely unacceptable because the wooden acting in the prequels, that was all part of the direction.
Yeah.
Right.
You had some of the most dynamic actors in there. You had Samuel L. Jackson, you had Natalie Portman, Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor. All of them were made to deliver their lines like that.
And then George Lucas coming in and saying, "Okay, now what I want you to do is to just make sure you have no emotion during this line, if you could."
Jedi are just like
I don't know if that got
Vulcans.
picked up on the mic. I hope.
Yeah, I did.
I want Jedi to be like Vulcans in Star Trek. You don't have any emotion at all. You go and you just tell them the thing. Just say what you're gonna say. Don't emote whatsoever. All right, that's what I want you to do.
So yes, all the Jar Jar hate.
Yeah.
What do you feel like in continuity works against Star Wars?
The kid.
The kid, yeah.
It makes like every scene that he says anything in, or he's in, or it's just all like
Chesko Sebulba.
Chisco Saboba.
Hey Jar Jar, stay away from those energy binders. If your hand gets caught in the beam, it's gonna go numb for hours.
Which admittedly, I watched Jingle All the Way, and he still is pretty bad in that too.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess it could be. You could look at it as like from that point on, it took until Rogue One for them to redeem like Vader as like a truly scary villain.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm also throwing out like anything that you feel like in the EU that was an actual detriment to Star Wars.
No, floodgates,
guys,
man.
this is everything. This is everything.
Well, okay,
Oh,
so
you
if-
just opened Pandora's
If
box
we're
there.
going to go with the worst things than Star Trek, then we don't even need to look at the Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yeah.
we don't
They're the
even.
same.
We don't
They're the
even.
same.
Yeah, they're the exact same piece of media.
Yeah.
No difference between them. Then we don't even need to look at the movies.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
nothing in the movies
Yeah.
that will ever top any
I
of the
feel like
awful
if you can help it, reference the movies. But if you
Okay.
find something even juicier, bring in the EU.
No, EU is usually just schlock, basically.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of schlock.
So-
It's
And
just in
try to draw
general
from the movie
very
then.
bad.
The movies are really what counts anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's always been the case.
Yeah. What about you, Hyman?
Oh, goodness.
I know you were all. I know that you. I saw some like black veins popping up on your temple when I was all like, "Tell us about the worst thing." And then you were all like, "Yes, my power grows."
Oh man, it's difficult to choose because I there are a lot of issues with the prequels in my mind.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to pick one that I think has an overarching detriment. But actually, no, I already brought it up. The acting, the direction of the acting, I think really cut down on it. That's one of the strengths I think of the prequels is that the actors are allowed to be much more dynamic. So probably the acting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the acting in the prequels is that, but like in the original trilogy, then like they're allowed to be more dynamic. Because you said prequel twice, and you threw me off.
Okay, so yeah, prequel acting
Bad.
is bad. Yeah, prequel acting bad.
Sequel acting good.
Right. And getting now, big thank.
Hey, what about you, Jeff?
So, kind of going off of your point with the acting, like, I think this is less, like, a detriment to Star Wars as, like, a whole and more just kind of a personal thing.
Yeah.
But, Ewan McGregor's acting in the last, like, quarter or third of Revenge of the Sith. Because we've...
Really?
So,
Specifically that.
specifically that.
Okay.
Because we have said... And I agree with you guys that Ewan McGregor is probably the perfect Obi-Wan. Like his acting is like probably some of my favorite in those like prequel movies, despite all the other bad direction. Like he definitely like saves that role.
Yeah.
Something in him just flips as soon as the younglings start dying.
He just gives up.
He just gives up. He starts screaming his lines like a child. He removes all the emotion that he would put in his voicing like before, and he starts acting like the little kid in Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Where everything is just like
Oh,
that.
Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about Darth Vader?
No, I'm talking about like what you were saying with Anakin in Episode 1, like that wooden acting.
No,
Yeah,
that-
'cause you said
it's like
earlier.
like the opposite direction, bro.
Yeah.
Like the kid, it's not specifically wooden. His delivery is disgusting, and it grosses me out.
It's kind of like that, like his delivery gets screwed up and everything. Like he just goes weird.
Like I'm not rooting for Anakin at all throughout Phantom Menace.
No.
And like a lot of people give a lot of hate to Hayden Christensen too, but
Yeah.
once again, I feel like it's mostly the directing that's the cause for that.
Yeah.
Because he himself is a talented actor.
Yeah, he's been in other better films since then.
But yeah, like specifically, there's just something in that last bit after like Anakin falls and everything, where like his acting, where like Obi-Wan's acting, just like I don't know, it just kind of tanks out of nowhere.
I kind of feel like it just goes weird.
Yeah, it goes very weird.
Yeah, because it doesn't go like Anakin from
you
Phantom
made actually
Menace.
a really good point, because I can't remember if it was like a couple years ago or something, but I was rewatching a little bit of Revenge of the Sith, and you're right. Like throughout most of the film, he's actually kind of fun. Like Anakin is oddly kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like when they're about to like land on that ship to fight Grievous.
Yeah.
Like they're like the dynamic that he has between him and Obi-Wan, it's actually pretty fun. Like they're quipping with each other. It sounds like a couple of friends, just giving each other a hard time. But you're right. That last bit on Mustafar, it's like the direction that's when like all of the stilted dialogue and all the poor direction just kind of coalesced on that single bit.
I feel like it starts with post fall of the Jedi Temple when he's like looking at the recordings and talking to Padme.
Yeah.
I feel like it starts there and then continues into Mustafar.
I think you're right.
No, I need what I need from you is to be really, really angry when you do these lines,
Okay,
but also
so-
have no emotion whatsoever.
Are you sure,
So
George? Because I
just-
feel like I can draw on something here. He's like my best friend throughout the entire series.
No, I want
right?
both of you just to scream at each other as men who have completely given up.
But he hasn't given... Like, the script says he hasn't given up on me. He's still trying to reach me.
No, but
And then he just slowly starts going...
somebody get me a Coke Zero. I need a Coke Zero right now.
Yeah, like I part of me always wondered if maybe Ewan McGregor was just checked out by that point.
Ewan McGregor
No,
and
I
Hayden
think
the
Christensen
directing.
both, I
Yeah.
think, were like... I think it's just the direction.
Yeah, I think it's just the direction there.
Yeah.
And I was making an observation, and you guys tell me if you feel the same way. But I feel like out of the prequels, universally, the only thing that people are still like cool and down with was Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I thought people still like
Yeah.
Liam Neeson's Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
I think so too. But I mean, like
Like the biggest
that
shining line.
could something that could come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you mean the only remaining relic of a bygone era?
Yeah.
No, it's an elegant weapon from a more civilized age.
Oh, okay. So he's the lightsaber.
Yeah.
He's the true
He was the lightsaber the whole
in
time.
all of us.
Ewan McGregor was the lightsaber inside of us all the time.
Yes.
And with the announcement of the Kenobi show, people were really excited
Yeah.
that Ewan McGregor was.
he is.
Ewan
Yeah.
McGregor is.
I am
going
excited
do
to see where that goes.
Yeah.
And I've seen in interviews where they talk to him about it. It's like, now that it's announced, how do you feel about it? He's like, honestly, really relieved. I don't know how long I was going to be able to keep up this secret.
Yeah.
He's like, I felt terrible lying to people.
Yeah, he said he was feeling really awful. How like for the past 4 years, he
Yeah.
would go to interviews and the interview would be like, if they were to do something with Obi-Wan again, would you be interested to do that. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I kind of feel like, if they do it, I'm open to the idea.
I don't know.
Meanwhile, he's just all like, we've been working on that for a while.
Oh man, how do I spin this?
Yeah, also to answer your
Visible
question,
sweating.
since you also say specifically like a detriment to Star Wars as like a whole,
Yes.
and you opened up the Hellraiser box that is the EU. Honestly, like the Yuuzhan Vong invasion.
What?
No, yeah, it's bad.
That's
No!
There's so much weird stuff that came from that.
Guys, they're
A lot
not
of the
affected by
novels.
the Force, though.
The novels
But
have
then they
so
also
much bad
develop
stuff.
a Vong sense, so then they can sense them.
They can't sense the Force? Or can they
No, they
not?
can sense Yuuzhan Vong.
No, yeah, it's
because they
Vong
can't.
sense.
It's called Vong sense.
They can sense the
That,
volume.
that sounds like we just took the Vong turn right there.
That all. We took a Vong turn at Albuquerque. Yeah, that also established like the weird force veil that's around their galaxy that hides them from other galaxies.
What?
We got. Is that where we got the Sun Crusher?
Probably.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
All I remember is that, like, in those later eras, I remember the great times 16 descendant of Luke Skywalker, and he loves death sticks.
Yeah.
He's super into death sticks.
So, like, his story, I don't even remember, like, what his first name was, but he is a Skywalker. This is before the sequel trilogy started popping out.
Right.
And
That's why
he's
it's
got-
called the EU.
he has got this super hot pink girlfriend who is, so he's like a
Oh,
combination
the pink girlfriend. Oh, I remember
Yeah,
now.
so check it out. So their species, so she's super hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pink skin, purple hair. And their whole species is that, like, and I found out about this thanks to the Star Wars role-playing game, that
Of course.
their whole species are can't not be hot.
Oh, fair.
All the men are hot, all the women are hot, and at all times they are secreting pheromones.
Yeah, they're just the Asari from Mass Effect. Except
Honestly,
they're pink.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind these pink people over the Asari. But anyway, so this
Pink
new,
Asari.
this new so this new Skywalker. You remember how ObiWan was all like, "You don't want death sticks"?
Yeah.
Well, this new Skywalker is like, "Yo, give me all the death sticks."
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you do spice or was it actually death sticks?
they're straight up called death sticks.
Okay.
And
So he's
I
a
found
chain
out-
smoker.
I found out
Yeah.
how they work. Like they're a fluid that you ingest.
Oh.
Yeah, you just like mix it in a drink or something.
No,
or you just take a
it
shot.
straight on. And
Yeah.
so he
Death
does
stick
it-
shots.
So he does it so that he can get high and cut himself off from the Force. Because he's Force
Oh,
sensitive.
yeah.
He's like this
Yeah,
weird
that was
combination between Han, in that he's a rogue who will use a blaster, and Luke, because he's a Jedi. And periodically, there was this great like couple of panels I saw where like he's about to take another death stick, and then the ghost of Luke shows up, and he's all like, "Dude, you need to grab your destiny." And he's all like, "That's really great, Grandpa. Let me do that right after this death stick."
He wasn't that far of a descendant from Luke, was he?
He was pretty far. It was way after the remnants and everything else after that.
Yeah, stuff gets crazy in the EU.
It does.
But yeah, like you also talk about quantifying the Force via like Metachlorians, like the fact that their galaxy has like the Force veil.
Oh, that's
like
awful. That's
that,
awful.
like
Oh, the
that
Yuuzhan Vong,
actually quantifies the Force as only existing in that galaxy.
I hate that.
because
hate
the
that.
Yuuzhan Vong can't be sensed because they're outside of the Force.
That's
Right.
right. That's
so
right.
that's a hard quantifiable number on it.
It is.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
There's a force border.
Yeah.
That reminds me of in KOTOR 2. Was it Malachor?
Yeah.
That is just like a planet that is devoid of all life.
Yeah.
And so it's just a dead space in the Force.
Yeah, so that's that was going to be my contribution towards like detriment if we're talking as far as like actual canon, since Yuuzhan Vong don't exist anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is
Bring that up.
how trivial cutting yourself off from the Force is now.
Oh.
Because it happens in Last Jedi, and then it's also talked about in Fallen Order, which is canon.
Yes.
Like Luke completely cuts himself off from the Force in Last Jedi, and then
Yeah.
he's able to just kind of like he recovers his link to the Force pretty easily.
It's just a USB cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the character in Fallen Order.
He just plugs the modem back in.
Make sure you use safe disconnect though before you pull out the
Yeah,
cord.
that's what happens when you don't safe disconnect. You cut yourself off from the Force.
That's right. Don't do that.
But
kids.
and then that same thing basically happens with another like main-ish character in Fallen Order. They cut themselves off from the Force, and then they just kind of get their connection back.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't Kyle Katarn do that too?
I was gonna say Kyle
he
Katarn,
does it like multiple times.
he just
But
turns
that's
it off
also
and then-
because of the whole Valley of the Jedi thing,
I was
even though
gonna
they
say.
don't bury their dead.
Yeah,
But
The Valley of the Jedi. How does that work?
it's just like
Yeah.
a well of Force energy,
pretty much.
and you just toss yourself back in there and just get filled up with
it
Force
gives
energy.
you Force sensitivity.
Okay.
But
Even if you don't have it.
what
Yeah.
you're talking about with KOTOR 2 and like the link between like Malachor 5 and like the whole story of that game is that game really puts a lot of gravity on cutting yourself off from the Force.
Yeah,
Like
it's like a big deal.
it's really treated as a thing that you don't just do. Like
Yeah.
it's essentially like dying.
Whoa.
And like the
I
whole
like that.
and like your main character is cut off from the Force in order to shield themselves from what happened on Malachor 5 because of how much death happened there.
Whoa.
And that planet is what's called a wound in the Force.
Yeah.
That's the coolest.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then the pain basically of that happening since your main character was present with Revan in
was
the
there
Mandalorian Wars.
when Malachor 5 was killed.
Oh.
Yeah, because that's,
And
that's
so
where
that massive disturbance of all the life on this whole planet
Yeah.
being killed simultaneously, all that disturbance hit them all at once, and your main character cuts themselves off from the Force to pretty much not blow up their own brain.
Yeah, because like it basically was established if you main character hadn't done that, they would have died. Right
They would have
there.
been killed by
awesome.
that.
And
Like all the Force sensitive people around were like,
yeah.
Yeah.
the
That
messed
also
up.
happens with one of the villains in that game, where they themselves become a wound in the Force, and
Yeah.
their existence is just sucking life from anything around them.
That's
Oh yeah, you
radical.
mean Darth Galactus.
Yeah, essentially,
That's
pretty much.
radical. I'm sorry. I'm still hung
Yeah,
up. I'm
like-
still hung up on just the term "a wound in the Force."
Yeah,
Oh,
'Cause
Darth
Look,
that's
man.
where because that's also where the Mandalorian Wars ended.
Yes.
Was like the Republic forces and the Mandalorians all dying at once on Malachor 5.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Thanks, Bowder,
yeah,
for that. By the way.
Beodur.
Beodur.
Yeah, he and then there's also other story stuff, like when you're finding the other Jedi Masters in that game, they talk about using that force cutoff as like a punishment, but they rarely ever do it because of how horrendous it is.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
cool.
nasty.
That's
And
cool.
so that I always loved how important that was established, and then now it's like you can kind of just turn it off and turn it on now,
Right.
Yeah.
like starting with the new movies,
It's like
Yeah.
holding your breath.
kind of.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You
Fair
should
enough.
play KOTOR 2, but you don't have to play all of
You
it.
really need to check
No,
out KOTOR
yeah,
2.
play it like 3/4 through.
Yeah.
Why,
And then
guys?
stop.
Why would I only play 3/4 through KOTOR 2?
Because Nihilus is nothing
Because they
but a
ran
huge
out of-
disappointment.
Because they ran out
he
of
is,
money.
unfortunately.
That's why.
Yeah, they ran out of money. That's actually the
he
real
is
answer.
such a cool villain, and they do nothing with him.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yep.
But there's a lot of stuff in that game that you would, I think, love.
I think you would
you,
love him,
yeah.
especially the stuff about Malachor. I think pretty much everything involving Malachor 5 you'd probably think was the coolest thing ever, because I think it is.
Play until the studio runs out of money and then stop.
Have a hard number on
the
the
content mod.
Yeah, have a hard number in the top right corner that shows you funds currently, and when it reaches, I think, about $100 left, just stop.
What I really, really want is that and I'm still kicking myself for not doing this yet, I need to find a way so that I can play Republic Commando, because that has been on my radar for such a long time.
You want to play Republic Commando?
Should I not?
No, you
Yeah.
can totally play it.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
It's got some weird.
It's not really
bits.
important though.
Well, like, I mean, yeah.
Dude, it's just the reason why it's been on my radar for so long. It's because it's the Star Wars game that I've wanted for so long.
Yeah.
It's like I've wanted to play a game as a clone trooper, and I've wanted to play a first person shooter Star Wars, and I wanted to do some sort of team based Star Wars game.
Oh,
Yeah.
are we segueing into video games now? Please tell me
this is all Star Wars.
Please tell me we're cycling into video games.
Okay.
What do you have to say about
I can
video
reflect
games?
right off of that.
Favorite and least favorite Star Wars video game.
Okay.
Oh no!
All right.
Oh no!
I'm going to start off with the poor choice. I know, and it's only.
Oh, before we go on,
Yes.
I just want to because you
Yes.
talked about the game that
Yes.
you've
Yes,
always
yes.
wanted to play.
Yes.
Bounty Hunter. I rented Bounty Hunter, and I borrowed
Wow.
a GameCube
Wow.
when it came out to play it, but I only got to play it for like I think it was 5 days,
Yeah.
and then we had to return it, and I was never able to do that again. I really want to go back and revisit it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's what.
I'd be down with that.
It's the Great White Buffalo. It's the Great White Buffalo.
Yeah.
It was fun playing as Django. It was cool.
Yeah.
Knowing that your head would.
I would like to
see.
see them
Yeah.
remaster that game.
That reminds me on the original Battlefront 2. Occasionally, if somebody brings in Jango Fett as one of the hero people, occasionally one of the clone troopers will be like, "Oh no, it's Jango Fett, and he brought his head."
This is the worst.
Throwing shade on my Mandalorian master man.
Yeah.
Isn't he not?
Can we all just I guess
Mandalorians they're not a species. It's like an ideology, a faction.
No, I don't believe that.
it's my religion.
I believe there actually is like a
The-
Mandalorian like species, but they also take in like other
Yeah.
people.
It's
that
like
join
the
them.
Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Because there is like a Sith race, but then there's also that people that follow the Sith.
Okay. Really quick before we transition into video games. So we all feel the same that Django is way better than Boba, and
Yeah.
Boba's kind of been overhyped.
Well,
Yeah.
because Django
Yeah.
did stuff in the films.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
he has a countable body count that includes other Jedi.
The only reason Boba was ever popular was the expanded universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's another
Because he never did anything in the
detriment
films.
because they tried to push Boba Fett so hard. They made
They
him
tried to get him over so bad.
like they made him the greatest bounty hunter of all time. They gave him a lightsaber. They had him lightsaber fight Vader and almost beat him,
Oh, yeah.
which would not happen. Vader would just pull him apart.
No, but
you
he's
had
Boba
him-
Fett, though.
Yeah,
No, but he's
he had
Boba Fett,
like
though.
other people being like scared of him. Like they really they wanted him to be the main character.
Yeah.
Then in the movies, he just says, put Captain Solo in the cargo hold.
Yep.
Okay.
And he stands in the corner.
The only thing he does in the original trilogy is he accepts a gift from the Empire.
So I saw very recently a thread on the Star Wars subreddit, and it had a picture of Captain Phasma, and it was all like, "This person only exists in the movies to sell toys." Changed my mind, and like a lot of people were like, "No, you're right," and somebody else was all like, "Yeah, the same as with Boba Fett," and then there was just like a fight going on, just like Boba did this, Phasma did this. I'm like, guys,
They all do the same
you're both
thing.
wrong.
Yeah.
They stand in the corner, they act menacing, and then they fall in a pit and die.
I will
Yeah.
agree with one thing. Somebody pointed out, Phasma did help one of the main characters complete his story arc
That's a good point.
and had an actual battle and
That's true.
didn't, get defeated by a blind guy. So
Yeah, I mean, it's like 1% more than what Boba Fett did.
it's
We're not
1%.
saying it's a huge thing.
No, it's not
so,
huge.
like, here is one thing.
There's one thing
Yeah.
in the movies.
In the movies. Yes.
Yeah.
That's very important.
There actually is a deleted scene in Last Jedi that gives Phasma like slightly more than that, which I actually kind of wish they kept it. Like the only thing I could think of is they might have just cut it for time purposes.
Yeah.
But during that fight when she's fighting Finn, rather than just kind of like falling through the floor and kind of just falling into the doom pit, she fights Finn off, and then instead of Finn coming back up onto the platform, she comes up and she's got a bunch of stormtroopers with her. She calls Finn like a traitor and like kind of just putting him down, and then he calls her out for being a hypocrite because she helped them take the shield down on Starkiller Base in order to live.
Yeah.
And then her stormtroopers actually start kind of looking at her weird, like this is the first time they've heard that.
Yeah.
She very quickly kills all of them.
Oh, she's
Whoa.
exposed on stream.
Yeah.
She got
And
exposed.
then she almost kills Finn and like has him knocked down, and then they do their line where like, "You're scum, yeah, rebel scum." And then, but instead of collapsing through the floor, he grabs a blaster off of one of the dead troops and like blasts her off into the pit.
Okay, that's
So it's like I feel like it's a much better scene than what we kind of got, and I feel like it gives Phasma at least a little tiny more than the nothing that we kind of got.
Yeah. I
No,
like
but
that.
Gwendolyn Christie, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gwendolyn Christie though. I like her a lot.
She's giant.
She's so big.
Yeah.
She seems nice.
She
does.
would have been good if they gave her anything.
Fair
Yeah.
point.
I thought she fulfilled her purpose of being there.
I mean,
Having
yeah.
And I mean, I think her armor's cool too. So, you know.
Boba Fett had cool armor also.
Yeah, I know. I think his armor's cool too.
Look cool. How do you
This
sell the
isn't-
toys?
This
Exactly.
isn't about whether or not she's better than Boba Fett. It's just all like, oh, hey, that's a neat little detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're both the same and kind of trash.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I like Phasma.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like Phasma has been
Okay.
overhyped.
So, going back to...
Not by the fans, I mean.
Yeah, I was gonna say she got so hyped.
She got pushed a lot by the films, but not.
Yeah,
not
but yeah,
from the
because she was
fans.
also part of like the big advertising push.
Yeah, of course.
like for it. So that is like, if anything, I feel like that's kind of maximum hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, favorite game, least favorite game.
Okay.
I am currently stuck between two choices for favorite. One of them is the original Battlefront 2.
That was really good.
And I'll take the L on this one and say the Revenge of the Sith game.
It's one of your favorites?
It's one
Oh,
of
the
my
movie
favorite-
game.
The
Yeah, the
movie
movie
game.
game.
Oh my.
And the reason for that is because it was like some of the most fun I had with lightsaber combat.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The lightsaber combat in that is so clean.
that
It's
game's
fun,
so
that
clean.
game's really underrated.
It is.
I think so. I would agree.
We'll
We'll have to play it again sometime.
the enemy variety is actually really, really cool, and the multiplayer mode in that is shockingly deep.
It's just
They-
it's a fighting game.
It is
They have both a fighting game as well as a co-op.
That's right, they
Yeah.
do. We knocked out the co-op really quick. And
Where you
Look,
have
a
to
game
defeat,
that managed to pull that off better than Omicron.
Right.
Where you have to defeat Jedi Master Sindralig,
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. But for my
who
least-
is named after one of the stunt coordinators for the movies,
Oh, that's cool.
which is Nick Gillard.
Yeah.
So, least favorite. That's tricky. I'm drawing back upon the old SNES era, like Super Star Wars and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Don't say
I
Super
did
Star
play
Wars.
Battlefront 1.
Don't you dare say Super Star Wars.
I would say, for my personal experience, my least favorite is probably the rebooted Battlefront 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because it's just, by comparison to everything else we've had beforehand, it feels like such an empty experience.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which it is.
yeah, and that's more or less it for me. What about you guys?
Favorite Battlefront 2. Second favorite, or sorry, Battlefront 2. Second least favorite Battlefront 2.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
There you go.
I
No,
think
but Battlefront 2 is good now, though.
yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
good now though.
I didn't think they would ever pull a turnaround on that game, but they somehow did it.
Yeah.
There's been a few games that have done that.
No Man's
Yeah.
Sky,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13.
14.
14, you mean. 13 never turned
13,
around. It only got
13
worse.
is still nuked in the ground.
Yeah, we don't talk about 13. My actual favorite is probably KOTOR 1.
Mhm.
Love it, enjoy it. I like playing D&D while I play Star Wars.
Me too.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had, and I'm not going to get into the huge argument about it, but how annoyed I was about vibroblades blocking lightsabers.
Yeah.
But that's a hard-baked game mechanic thing.
Yeah.
That's a whole episode on its own. From what I've heard.
I've come to the conclusion, if they say that there's cortosis in there or whatever, if they explained why they can block lightsabers, I'm
No,
fine
it's
with
frick
it.
alloy.
Yeah, it's frick alloy.
I was going to say, they did explain it.
They didn't
Yeah.
see it in there. So, yeah, KOTOR 1, love it. Going back and playing it and beating it again, still love it. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Least favorite, I honestly don't like Shadows of the Empire very much.
That's fair.
I don't think it worked very well, and I got so far before I got to the trash train, and I was just all like, I think I'm done with this game.
Oh, you don't like the trash train wild ride?
No.
Never mind. Can I change my favorite
change
to Shadows of the Empire?
Yeah, you beat that shit.
I did, and I did not feel victorious
You
after
cut yourself off from the force to block that
And
out.
also,
Everybody wondered, why can we no longer set Smiter?
Yeah, I've beaten that game multiple times, and I'm numb to it.
I don't like Shadows of the Empire, and I don't like Dash Rendar.
Yeah.
I don't like Dash.
Don't like.
Look, I have a special place in my heart for that game. Dash is a discount Han.
Yes. And I
I
also,
have a Dash action figure.
You do with his big dumb shoulder pads.
Yeah,
He
you
does.
do. You do. I'd say a second place for probably favorite is after you've unlocked the ability to use force powers in Jedi Outcast.
Yeah, when it stops being
Not before.
when it stops being Unreal Tournament 2004.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, those opening levels are rough.
They are
Yeah,
very rough.
I watched Josh replay them recently, and I'm all and Josh is boosting in cheats and no clip and stuff, and I'm sitting there, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's how you're supposed to play
I
it.
thought
That's one of those
supposed to be.
special games that's way more fun with God mode cheats.
Yes.
Well, specifically, I feel like as long as you have saber realistic combat turned
Yeah.
on, the
Which-
game is probably the best
Which
it
I'm
could possibly be.
sad that you cannot do that in Switch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Only on
Well,
PC.
of course
But-
not. You have to open with a console. You think they're going to let you do that on Switch?
That's
Yeah.
probably
I wonder
one.
if people with hacked Switches could do it.
Yeah.
Probably. I need to hack my Switch just for this game.
Yes.
Yeah, so for me, for most favorite, KOTOR and KOTOR 2 are so neck and neck, but I'm actually going to give it to KOTOR 2.
Whoa.
Because I really love the way they play around with the Force in that game, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's a really good deconstruction of the way it works.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot more poured into the single player campaign, which I mean those games are single player only anyway, so I really appreciate what they put in there.
Yeah.
With the caveat that you do need the restored content mod to really get the full experience,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Least favorite, you actually kind of stole my answer with the new Battlefront 1.
Yeah, it's okay. No, I took
'Cause
away that answer. It's
yeah.
Shadows of the Empire.
So
Yeah,
I'll
he
s-
took it back.
I will say because I have played it, I can also say this: the Phantom Menace PS1 game.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Deep cut.
I was considering that for my worst, but
Yeah.
I was conflicted because it's not completely terrible. There's just one thing in it that ruins the whole game.
Which one's that one?
The camera.
Yeah, the camera makes it unplayable.
Yeah.
Imagine you're playing MGS1, but the camera is 2 inches away from Snake's shoulders.
I remembered that.
Yeah.
As soon
No, I
as he said
remember.
the camera, I was all like, it took me way
Yeah.
back into my Force memories.
Yeah.
I began to feel the pain of my ancestors.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good one. That's a real good one to hate.
Yeah, PS1. I'd never played Masters of Terras Kasi, but I imagine that would
Yeah.
probably be one too.
Yeah.
That'd be down
Guys, they confirmed Terras Kasi.
Yeah, Terras Kasi's back, you guys.
Oh, it's a real place. Real things happen there.
Hey, Fine Man, go ahead and spit out the black bile of your knowledge.
You know, they have pod racing on Malistaire. Very fast, very dangerous.
Shoot! Pod racing is also up there as one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, Pod
there. The
Racer.
Pod Racer game's really good.
Pod Racer for N64, I think is probably the Star Wars game I played the most, other than Jedi Outcast.
We still have a copy.
You also
Yeah.
don't you also have a copy of Bombad Racing?
No, we don't have a copy of
Oh.
Bombad Racing.
Bombad.
No, I don't.
Super Bombad Racing.
Yeah, it was super Bombad.
Oh
so
yeah.
All right, Play Man. It's your turn. The inevitability.
best game. I mean,
Not necessarily best game, but most favorite.
my
game.
favorite game.
Yes.
I mean, there's some rose-colored glasses involved with this selection, but
Sure.
I want to say TIE Fighter.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, that's bull. It's bad. TIE Fighter is bad. I just.
I know for a fact you've never played TIE
Best
Fighter.
game. Best game, TIE Fighter. Worst game, X-Wing.
X-Wing.
No, I liked
Rogue
X-Wing.
Squadron.
I liked X-Wing a lot. It was really, really hard, and I couldn't play it very well at the time, so I never really got that far
Oh,
into it.
God, sorry. I just, like, what if for my favorite, I said Shadows of the Empire, and for my least favorite, KOTOR?
Yeah, you just flip on me.
Yes, sorry, please continue.
We'd have to cut all of your audio out. That's going to be difficult.
Yeah. it's gonna be hard.
You'd have to cut me off from the Force.
You're just going to mirror universe your brother?
That's okay. You can just get it back.
That's right. I can just turn it right back on.
Plug the USB back in. It's a USB 4, so you have to have the right ports. But
Right.
Right, yeah. Sorry, Pame, you were saying.
Not everybody has
You
those
were not
ports.
good at it, but you loved it.
Yeah, I wasn't good at X-Wing. I also wasn't that great at TIE Fighter, but I was good enough that I could get through it.
Yes.
And that, coupled with the narrative from the aspect of a TIE Fighter pilot, so it was the bad guys, I thought
Yeah.
was super cool.
I loved that in Battlefront 2.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
new Battlefront 2.
No, I know what you're referring
Yeah, we know what
I'm
you
not
mean.
saying that for you guys.
Yes.
The
Okay.
story of the original Battlefront 2 is awesome. I
Yeah.
love
OG Battlefront 2 is also up there. KOTOR obviously is a great pick.
it. Mhm.
I think yeah. So
Is it
TIE-
just any game where you can play the bad guy?
no, not really.
No, okay. Alright.
I mean,
I
it
mean-
helps.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
no-
it's certainly a selling point for me.
Mhm.
Hey, are you tired of Rebel Scum? And Pie-Man's in his chair going, I am tired of Rebel Scum.
I'm actually just sick and tired of Rebel Scum, as a matter of fact. And for least favorite tough, because I was gonna go with the PlayStation 1,
Oh, yeah.
the PlayStation
Oh,
1
yeah,
Episode 1.
Yeah, well, he brought like some Vietnam flashbacks for me as soon as he mentioned that. So.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of Star Wars games I haven't played.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
a lot of the old DOS stuff I didn't play.
Right.
Other than, of course, the two that I mentioned.
Least favorite, Bird vs. Camel.
Oh yeah, the Atari stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I played I want to say it was like a videotape game once.
Oh, you mean like a, gosh, what's the FMV film sort of thing?
Yeah, one of those
Or-
film games. I can't remember what it was though.
Yeah.
It was way back in the day. That was pretty bad. In fact, it was.
We need your help!
I didn't understand how it worked.
Yeah.
Shadows of the Empire was. I didn't hate it, but it was really hard to get into.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
janky.
Guys, why does he slide so much? Why does he slide when he runs so
He's
much?
got those butter boots.
He's
Butter
no
boots.
longer on Hoth. We've left Hoth.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to fight Boba Fett. Why does he slide so much?
He wore off all the tread, and he hasn't had time to change his boots.
he like he wore out his winter tires and he needs to get new ones.
Yeah, his tires are bald. You're supposed to have at least 1 centimeter on there.
Gosh, what was the name of his ship? Not Millennium Falcon.
The Outrider.
The Outrider.
Yeah. Gosh.
Well, that's the big thing also for me when it comes to Dash Rendar is that it's just annoying that he felt like he needed to be involved in every important thing that ever happened in Star Wars,
Yeah.
except in the shadows.
Yeah. Hey, I feel like,
You guys
I saw
remember?
your ghost leave you there.
God,
for a
I
second.
You remember
feel
when
like-
the Millennium Falcon flew inside of the Death Star 2 and blew it up from the inside, except it was actually the Outrunner?
Oh, God.
yeah. Lando was on the other side of the generator.
Yeah.
God.
Oh man, like even more so than Dash, like the villain of that game / book, Prince Shizor, was even worse.
Yeah.
Dude.
And his lightsaber fans?
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you when I tell you I completely forgot that game had a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
Yeah.
You thought
In
Dash
my
Rendar
mind,
was the
Dash
villain.
Rendar is the villain.
I thought Dash Rendar was like, because I remember Boba Fett. I remember, thanks to you guys, IG-88. I completely forgot that there was an overarching villain over the entire thing.
Yeah, this OC character,
Oh my gosh. I
he
completely
like
forgot.
he's like the leader of the Black Sun, so he's like the most important like mafioso
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He's also like the other hand of the Emperor,
Yeah.
who's
Right.
trying to usurp Vader
The third hand.
by being Palpatine's favorite.
Yes.
He just effortlessly does everything he wants to do with like no challenge, and he's like super deep and interesting.
But Josh,
And he, like,
in the shadows.
And like Apparently he's like super strong, he's super buff, he's super handsome.
He's very handsome.
And he like his whole thing is just like he wants to usurp Vader, and like his plan to take out Luke was to shoot him with a gun, even though that didn't work.
Yo, just shoot him though.
And then the only redeeming thing about that character is that he goes out with a whimper.
Nice.
Because he like when his plan to take out Luke fails, he just goes back to his stupid skyhook
That's
to like
great.
throw a silent tantrum, and then Vader blows him up.
I remember that part.
He's such a shit villain with such a fitting ending.
Just some C4 in his chair.
Yeah. Vader's like, oh, you didn't respond in time. I guess that means you betrayed us. And just looking for every excuse to blow his ship up with his Star Destroyer.
That's great.
That's so good.
Because he's so done with him.
So good.
That's good.
Man, the Shadows of the Empire book is such a wild ride. Which was also my first introduction to the EU.
No way.
Yeah, that was the very first EU novel I ever read.
Wow, you had a rough landing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
My very first EU book I ever read was a book that I had found at my middle school library.
Yes.
Was
this
it
is my
Galaxy of Fear?
No.
This is the exact same book because he shared it with me.
Yes.
For
Because
me too. This is my introduction too.
for the record, and anyone listening that doesn't already know, I work as a custodian, as a substitute custodian. So I hop around and I clean a lot of the schools, many of which were schools that I went to as a kid. And I'd say about a month ago, while cleaning up the same middle school that I went to, I found a copy of the same book that I had found.
Is it the same one?
I don't know if it's the same one, but I'm willing to believe it because it looks old. It was a book called, and it was part of like I think a 5-part series, and it was called The Glove of Darth Vader.
Oh!
I never read that, but I heard about it.
Break it down.
It's pretty great. That was my first. Let me see if I can find the picture on my phone. You guys can
So
tell
check
me.
it out. Check it out. For anybody that doesn't know, like, why there's such a big pop up for this, that series was so ridiculous.
It was the worst ever.
So check it out. We're talking about active detriment,
But
out
also
of
the
the
best.
EU. So check it out. In this version of Star Wars, after the Empire has fallen, Vader dies. Some team, like, diving under, like, in the ruins of the Death Star, they find the glove of Darth Vader. And they think, oh, it's still got power attached to it. So one guy takes it,
Yes.
and he's like, now I am Vader. Except he's not.
He's not. And
No.
here's the thing. He's not force sensitive,
Yes.
right?
No, he's
but
not.
he wanted the glove to command power. So what he did is that he got a droid to affix a little tiny device in the fingertip of the glove.
Yes.
And what would happen is because he can't choke people, he would go like that, and it would emit a very high frequency sound to just the person he was pointing to, and that would cause them to have
Like
brain.
nausea episodes, or like they would collapse and stuff.
Or their brain would hemorrhage.
He's a charlatan pretending to be Vader.
Yeah.
He didn't even like.
No, he didn't pretend to be Vader. He was
just
his
all
own
like,
guy.
now I am on par with Vader.
Yeah, I'm
It's
the
like,
new
now
Vader.
I am the new Emperor.
It's like, I have the power of Vader because his glove.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Hey,
You know
Jerry,
that-
I don't know what you're doing over there, but
You know the next step would have been to brainwashing himself into thinking he's Vader, much like Ocelot brainwashing himself into thinking he's Liquid.
oh man,
Doesn't he end up losing his hands?
that guy?
Or am I thinking of
Yeah.
a different dude?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not
A
sure.
lot of people lose
He
hands
had
in Star Wars.
he had
and I'm
3
bringing it.
eyes, and
Yeah.
there was
Oh, no,
a,
yeah. Trioculus was
Yeah.
his name.
Oh yeah.
there was the whole there was this, what's it called, prophecy or whatever,
Yeah.
that the son of the emperor would have 3 eyes, and it's all like, okay, I have 3 eyes, I found the glove of Darth Vader, nobody's gonna like question it, right? And then in the later books you find the real third-eyed guy who has 2 eyes here, and then 1 eye back here.
Yeah, it
was
was
a
a big
backwards
plot twist.
Yep.
Yeah,
Big plot twist.
So there's multiple 3-eyed dudes.
Yeah.
But only one is
Did you,
the son
did
of
you
the
finish
Emperor.
the series?
I did finish it.
Good.
Do you think
That was my introduction as in middle school.
Do you think Force Awakens giving Kylo Ren Vader's helmet is them recontextualizing the glove of Vader for new canon?
Yeah,
Do
I
you
think
remember
so.
how Trioculus died?
I believe he was just shocked to death by the other guy. I think. I could be wrong.
Do you remember?
It's been a long time since I read.
Trioculus was the guy who got shot with the eyeball laser from the evil Princess Leia droid.
Oh!
Yeah.
Nice.
Rip and gone.
Rip and gone. Yeah, that was also because he brought it home.
I
and
think it was him. Let me make sure.
Yeah, go double
I
fact
remember
check.
pretty clearly.
Yes. But the other son of the Emperor, when somebody would see his third eye, he could he does some sort of force juju to them, and they follow him or whatever.
Yeah.
He's got a Sharingan in the back of his head.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
And now
Trioculus.
you are his. Now you are his. That's so.
And then the other guy was like Triaculocolos or something like that.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
really dumb.
It's
Yeah.
really, really dumb. But I remember
That was my introduction to the EU. And then I've
nice.
since read the Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who cares about Thrawn? Nobody cares.
A lot of people care
Well,
about Thrawn.
everybody loves Thrawn, apparently.
Yeah, you haven't read the...
I have not. I have not,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I'm missing out.
Well, he's good enough to cherry pick him out into the new canon.
Yep.
Yes, it was absolutely Trioculus who got killed by the by the laser eye
Oh,
droid.
thank
Well, laser
thank
eyes,
God we
Princess
could get
Leia.
It was
that.
because it was because he loved Leia and wanted to marry her, and he thought the droid was Leia. And
But she was all
it
like,
was during the wedding.
Yeah.
nice. Right in front of her. Way to get punked.
That was such a great series.
Yeah. I want to see if I can find it and maybe collect it again.
Yeah.
Because they're very short books and they're meant for middle schoolers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a fun read. And they got cool pictures in it too.
Yeah.
When
They were
Trioculus,
illustrated.
when he got a hold of the glove and he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
great
he
pick.
loves it.
They were like Rob Liefeld drawings.
It looked like Rob Liefeld drawings.
Holy cow. What a wild ride that was. So, if we're all ready for the
How do you
big
guys
fish.
feel?
Are you guys ready for the big fish? Ready for the big meal?
We gotta do it sometime.
Yeah. It's okay.
Was there
but
anything else that you guys wanted
you
to
guys
talk about
wanted
before?
to, like, a quick shock our
If we,
memory with?
yeah, I feel like if we do talk about the EU, we could be here all day.
That's
Oh.
true, we would.
Actually,
There's
I think
so-
I've pretty much exhausted
Yeah.
like my.
I feel like there's
my
so,
knowledge
there's
for it.
just so much more to talk about the EU. That's
Do you guys remember the Sirook? You know, the kobolds, the evil kobold people?
yeah.
And they got their power for their droids by draining the life force out of other people.
No.
No!
And then they found out that Jedi were actually, they were really good batteries.
Yeah.
And so they're like, let's capture all the Jedi and drain their power.
Yeah.
Right on. Also, I know we mentioned before. It's all like we're going to talk about the Mandalorian, and we're also going to talk about the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Just because it's been out recently, and I feel like we've still got some themes and stuff we can talk about it. I'm also going to go ahead and even though only one of us has actually completed it, let's also throw in Jedi Fallen Order in there too.
Okay.
Should the conversation
Like
lean towards that?
newer media in general.
Yeah, basically.
Stuff that just came out really recently that
New Star Wars stuff.
that we don't want to spoil for anybody that doesn't
Yeah.
want it to be spoiled to
That
them.
being said, we are probably going to start entering the dark territory now, kids.
This
We're
is
about
the-
to enter
The unknown regions.
the unknown
We're going
region.
to Malachor.
Yeah, we're going to Malachor.
We're gonna go into the shadow. We're gonna go into heavy spoiler territory. Is what
Yes.
we're gonna do.
Yeah, this is
So-
your warning. If you have not
If
seen,
If you haven't seen the stuff that we've just mentioned, Jedi Fallen Order
The Mandalorian.
or Rise of Skywalker.
watch watch those, and then come back.
And then
Yes.
please come back
Oh,
so that you can
before
talk
we go into
Yes. the big fish.
before we go into spoilers for anyone that's curious that hasn't seen it yet and don't know if they want to see it, what do you think?
just
What do you think?
outline
Yeah,
opinions?
just what score would you personally give Rise of Skywalker?
Okay, I'm also gonna give the other two just to cover bases on those.
Okay, cool.
So starting with from what I've seen of Jedi Fallen Order, The gameplay looks extremely solid. Josh can tell you firsthand how it feels.
Yep.
The story
Jedi
looks
Fallen
really
Order.
the story looks really interesting, and as far as I know, like people have been generally praising it. I want to get it for myself. I want to get it and I want to play it.
That's
that
the
seems
plan.
really good. The Mandalorian, I highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend. I think it's very good, and it's a different type of Star Wars story. It's not even told in the exact same way. And Rise of Skywalker, I liked. I really liked Rise of Skywalker. And I'm willing to take the L on that. When I look across the room and I see Pyman going, "You fool! You fool!" And you know what? I'm gonna springboard off of that. So all three I think are cool, and I recommend. And Fallen Order, I'm definitely gonna get when I can.
Right.
So I'm gonna counterpoint to Pyman over here.
Oh,
And let
okay.
him take over next.
I don't know about Fallen Order. I don't know if I want to play as the Joker, but totally not the Joker. but
Yeah,
he's
no,
totally
it's
the
not your
Joker.
own.
Shut up, though.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It looks cool. I don't know if I'm gonna play it though.
Sure.
'Cause, like, I've played enough Souls likes.
All right, fair enough.
You've played all of the Souls-likes, I think.
I haven't played Sekiro.
Oh,
Have
okay.
you played Lords of the Fallen?
Have you played Salt and Sanctuary?
No, I haven't played Salt and Sanctuary. I have played Lords of the Fallen
Nice.
and the other game that they made.
Darksiders 3, have you played that?
No.
Yeah, that's also
That's
now
also
a
a Souls-like now.
No. I think Darksiders.
Darksiders was never a Souls-like, but Darksiders 3 is.
Oh
now.
no, it was
Yeah.
It was the first Darksiders was kind of like Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
that's what
sorry.
I was thinking.
Darksiders 1 is Zelda. Darksiders 2 is Diablo. Darksiders 3 is
Souls.
Souls.
Okay.
So, no, you're kind of good on Souls-likes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm just done with Souls like.
Frankly, I can't get enough of it. I love Soul likes.
Oh, I'm sure it's fun.
No, yeah. So, Mandalorian.
Mandalorian's really cool. I like it. I think it's worth a watch. That being said, I don't know how long Disney is going to use it to haul Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll
Yeah.
see where that goes.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm really the right person to ask whether or not I would recommend the new film trilogy.
No, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
actually
that's
what
fine.
you
It's
feel.
just- these are opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want,
No spoilers, because we're about to go into spoilers. Just really quick before we do that, what do you feel?
I overall don't like them that much.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you want to watch them, they're not a complete waste.
Okay.
There's
We
great
did
stuff in there.
establish before they're not the prequel trilogy.
There's fun.
They're-
No, the
they're-
prequel trilogy is good now. We like that.
Yeah, no, we like the prequels
It's
now.
flawless
It's
now.
deep and ahead of its time.
Let's do this podcast again in 15 years, and I'll probably recommend the sequels too.
Okay, that would be
Fair enough.
interesting. We're all old and
Okay.
crusty.
I'll go ahead and say I also have not yet played Jedi Fallen Order. It looks really cool. I think I would enjoy the story when I actually sit down and just check it out. I don't get the chance to play very many video games these days, but I also get a lot of enjoyment from just watching people play video games. Much to the chagrin of my younger brother over here.
I'm actively shaking in my chair.
But it looks really cool, and I really want to check it out. I'm very interested in it.
Yes.
I guess EA's not so bad anymore, but EA's still really bad.
Well, EA isn't what made that game good. It was Respawn.
Exactly.
That's right.
Respawn is really great. I love The Mandalorian. I think it's amazing, and I'm enjoying it, and I want to keep watching it. As of this, I think it's episode 7 that has just come out.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
it. And I've been really enjoying it. I think to this point, I'm probably going to enjoy it regardless of where it goes
Yeah.
from here.
Sure.
And I really, really liked Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I really, really like the sequel trilogy, even though there are big problems with it, and I will agree that there are big problems with the sequel trilogy.
Sure.
But I think they are good movies,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I really enjoy them.
All right.
Yeah.
Close this out, Josh.
Yeah, so with having first-hand experience on Fallen Order, having beaten it and on the replay right now, I can definitely recommend it. It's a very good game.
Nice.
The story's very tight, very beginning to end, just kind of a tight story set in Star Wars.
Nice.
Characters are good, if not a little bland, unfortunately,
Okay.
but like
Yeah.
the combat's definitely like the biggest selling point. Like the combat's really good in that game.
Cool. I I had a question going into that, and now I'm sorry, I completely forgot.
That's fine.
Now you're going into Mandalorian.
Do you enjoy Jerome Velasca beating down whale men wielding lightsaber hooks?
I'm not really sure how to answer that.
Did you like that Mongolian rock that he was listening to? That's like before his buddy was all like Jibuta, and then right beforehand he was all like
Don't be racist. Prof speaks basic.
he was listening to The Who. It was Wolf Totem.
He was listening to Hootie and the Blowfish.
I was just hoping. All right, here I go with this. I was just hoping for like that would be that new Cantina album from that Cantina band. I had to hold
Mark
that one
Rebo's
back.
Rebo's band.
Mark Rebo's band.
It was Max Rebo.
Max Rebo.
Sorry,
Max
Max Rebo.
I thought that was that new hot Max Rebo thing.
And he's not the Cantina dude.
No.
He was Jabba's Palace.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Jabba's Palace. Max Rebo.
Yeah.
Get it right, actually.
With their hit single Jedi Rocks.
Jedi Rocks, yes.
Yeah.
And their singer Sice Noodles, their flute player
Stop.
Droopy McCool.
Stop.
That was only
Stop.
his stage name though. His real name was
Stop.
Snit.
What are you doing?
Didn't he also have a Bith, or was there no Biths?
I don't remember. I think
Okay.
there was.
There might have been.
You silly man.
But,
Yeah, I think the Bith band is just called the Cantina band. Right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, the heavy chanting soundtrack. Yes.
Yeah, so the Mandalorian, I'm also thoroughly enjoying, like, every single episode.
Yes.
I'm really liking it. I think it might be my favorite thing that they've done with, like, new stuff coming out recently.
Yes.
I honestly have, after having... I can't really be fair because the show's not over yet, so I don't know if it's going to make any trip-ups in the last episodes, but assuming we're on the trajectory that we're on now, I might like it more than the movies.
That's fine.
Watch, in the last episode of the season, he's gonna take off his helmet and he's gonna pull out a lightsaber.
No, he's not.
Well,
No, he's not. No, he's not.
No, he's
that
not.
or if Boba Fett shows up.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
No, he won't.
Other than that, highly recommend The Mandalorian. I think it's great.
He's a dead pile of bones inside.
Yeah, he's still being digested.
Actively.
That's
He
how
made a
that
home
works.
down
Rise of
there.
Skywalker, I'm still kind of sitting on it condensing. I kind of feel like I need to watch it again just to like pick up the rest of the details I probably missed.
You gotta let it cook some
usually, yeah. I feel like I gotta let it cook a little bit. It takes me usually a couple viewings of a movie before I really like start condensing my thoughts.
Okay.
You guys pick up. I know you two pick up way more details on the first time, so I can rely on that. But
Yeah.
overall, initial impressions, having a day to sit on it, I like it. I thought
Okay.
Rise of Skywalker was pretty good.
Yeah.
With some janky, rocky bits at the beginning.
Yeah. Cool. I like that.
Okay.
It's time.
It is time.
As the ancient ones foretold.
Yes. If you've gotten this far, thank you. If you're not going to listen
We
past this
applaud
point,
you if you've gotten this far.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
sorry
Yeah.
for
You,
being
Sean
huge
Bong and EU.
Just
Good for you.
trash.
Yeah.
Ew.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you for listening. If you're not going to continue listening from here, it was great. And
Thanks
we
for
hope to
hanging
have
out with
another
us.
one for you soon.
If you're gonna still hang out with us or come back after you get done checking all that stuff out, great.
Great.
Now we can talk to you about it.
Okay, and so now we're going to go ahead and transition to spoiler territory.
Okay, so I think we're gonna. What was it? Mandalorian first. Mandalorian. Was
I think it's just a blend of whatever.
All right,
blend
let's
of
just
whatever.
shotgun this stuff.
Man, that was really brave of him in Rise of Skywalker to end off on a Yuzhong Vong invasion led by both Emperor Vitiate and Darth Scourge.
Yes.
That they came
Yo,
out of the
Scourge,
unknown.
though.
They came out of the unknown regions, and that was wild.
That was so wild. Those last 30 seconds.
I was so happy when Queller and Brackish showed up.
I loved how because I didn't find out about this until afterwards that Josh brought it up to you. But like, I only can imagine like how tight your face must have gotten as soon as Josh suggested, like, "Oh wow, the Yuzhong Vong, what did they show up?"
And then Kylo Ren pulled himself out of that pit wearing Revan's mask.
Yes.
That was weird.
New mask, and he's all like, I am Revan.
Like, I dance between light and dark.
No, it was Darth Nihilus' mask.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
All right, let's see, but
For realsies,
for
though.
realsies,
For
though.
realsies.
For realsies, though. I liked how in The Rise of Skywalker they just kicked off with the reveals right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked how they did that because it allowed us to focus much less on, oh, I wonder what these consequences will be. I wonder what secrets they still have lying underneath the surface. And it allowed us to actually focus much more on character development and character beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sort of style of storytelling. I found it almost a relief right away.
Yeah, I can agree with that part. Like, it did allow them to concentrate on the characters a little bit more, but I feel like that beginning section from beginning to, like, when the main crew get to that, like, old bounty hunter ship on the other planet, like...
Jedi killer.
The Jedi killer?
He was a Jedi hunter.
Yes,
the Jedi
that's right.
hunter. Like, up until that point...
It's a lot, right?
There's so much stuff that just happens, and it's kind of...
That's the whole movie. The entire movie is a mile a minute.
It does.
It
feels really fast. It doesn't really feel like they were letting any of the scenes breathe at that point.
It shouldn't have
Granted,
been called Rise of Skywalker. It should have been called Episode 9, Can't Stop, Won't Stop.
Yeah, like, it's really, like, it's going from one place to the other before you have a chance to really think what's going on, and, like, it's not bad. Like, I get what they were trying to do, and it's probably for the better that they did.
Yeah.
But it's just really, like, they don't let any of the scenes, like, breathe, I feel like.
Right
Before
from-
we're right into another location.
Right from the...
I was telling you before, like, when Rey gets on the boat to go to the Jedi wreckage, it's like, Rey, what are you doing? Sit down for 5 seconds!
And I told you, I was like, that's literally what the characters were doing.
Yeah.
They were like,
I'm glad
"Rey,
they did.
stop."
I'm glad they said the same thing.
Yeah. But I thought it was neat because right from the get go, yes, Palpatine is alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
The entire
Snoke
opening
was
crawl.
a clone.
The entire opening crawl is just an anime intro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
The
It was
opening
so
crawl was
insane.
so fast.
It was
Yeah.
insane.
Was that the shortest crawl
It
that
feels
there's
like it
ever
was.
been?
I think so.
Was it?
Because it
How
was all
long-
like,
how long was
Rey's training, Kylo's mad, he heard Palpatine, he's gonna go look. That was like it.
How long was the crawl in Rogue One?
I don't know if it actually had a
Well,
Rogue
I
One
think
didn't
it was
actually have an actual crawl.
Well, I thought I couldn't remember if it was either that or Solo had like the one that was in like red text.
Oh.
Which one was in red text? I can't remember.
I couldn't remember. It was either Rogue One or Solo.
I don't think Rogue One actually had a
Yeah,
crawl
I
at
see
all.
you guys
My-
both found Rogue One and Solo a Han story to be very memorable.
Yeah. Well, I found Rogue One very good.
I liked Rogue One a lot. I've seen Rogue One I think about 3 times.
Yeah.
I
Goodness.
have only seen Solo once.
Now, with their
Woody Harrelson's like really good in it.
Now, I was about to say, while we're actively trying to guess this extra detail between Rogue One and Solo,
Who cares?
We're not doing. Well, that's not what I was going to say. What I was about to say, we're not doing this right.
No.
We need to go from being guessing and completely uninformed about something to this is what it is.
Oh yeah.
We're doing this wrong, you guys.
You're right. We're supposed to be all like we're experts on this.
I that's what I said. That means it's right.
Oh,
That's right.
there we go.
Thank you.
Are you saying that we don't have a pre-printed out list of talking points in front of us?
No,
No.
what I'm saying is that things that we're being way too reasonable with things that we're not quite sure
Like I got the
about.
script right here, and oh no, it's out the window.
Oh no, there it goes.
No, it's out the window. It could have been red, or it could have been this movie. We should have been like, no, it's this movie.
We need somebody else that's not on mic Googling everything for us so that we can say it and pretend that we already knew and we're right the whole time.
Right.
I'm just saying, I don't want to be wrong.
God, anyway, title crawl.
Yeah, title crawl.
Title crawl, yeah, it felt pretty brief.
It was pretty brief.
But I do really appreciate just, and I think it's because I sort of felt initially fatigued by the idea of, oh great, now we're gonna have to wait the whole movie for this mystery that people may or may not even like. But I like that we just got them out of the way. Yes, you're a Palpatine. Yes, the Palpatine is alive. Snoke was a clone and really didn't matter.
No, everything in that movie was just a hard left turn from everything in The Last Jedi. It was like, remember that last movie? No, you don't. Here's a new movie.
Oh, and I think I was telling Josh, I was all like, man, I really, like, I don't I wish that they would have kept going with like Rey's parents are nobodies. Yeah. And they found out like a clever bit of wordplay to turn it around. It's like they chose to be nobodies.
Oh, I hated that.
So
because he's like, I never lied to you. Yeah, you did. You actively told her things that were not true, and even if you hadn't, that's a lie by omission.
I'm just gonna go ahead and just say real quick. He never actually said that they were nobodies. He was all like, "You know the truth," and she's like, "They're nobodies," and he's like.
No, he told her that they sold her for drinking money and stuff.
He did say that.
That he did say.
They did, yeah.
That's a lie.
That was a lie.
They did sell her. They did sell her.
I don't see any opening title crawls for Solo.
Also, when he was saying that, can we all?
I do remember a red title crawl from somewhere.
Yeah. Can we all just appreciate that he kept his shirt on this time?
I was kind of disappointed.
He should have been shirtless more.
You wanted more Ben Swallow?
I craved more Ben Swallow.
He should have like flexed his shirt off when he faced the Knights of Ren.
Oh man!
But yeah, and I feel like it allowed the movie to actually focus on more character development.
Yeah,
it was insane. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, "Whoa, okay, I guess we're doing this."
Yeah. Oh, and I was telling Jacob, like, can we just take a moment to appreciate that Palpatine has been the same actor in every movie?
Yes,
can we
I do very much
that?
enjoy that.
Yeah.
Can we get a shout out to Ian McDermott?
Where are you pointing?
You're pointing at our neighbors.
I was doing on the Eric Andre show. And Hannibal Buress is just just in the middle of the thing is a shout out to Christina Applegate, and then like a picture of Christina Applegate drops down, and it's just all like blinking lights that just say shout out to Christina Applegate, and that's
great.
it.
That's it. That's the whole bit.
But it's like he's so like get shout out to Christina Applegate. It's just like nonchalant.
I love the fact that Ian McDermott is just like, I'm Palpatine.
I am Palpatine.
He loves being Palpatine.
Yeah, I can't find any red title crawls anywhere, dude.
We'll figure it out later.
Oh, it's the Mandela effect. You're from a different universe.
No, shut up about that.
Don't talk about
that was
Mandela
just
effect.
probably like a fever dream one of us had.
Yeah.
Probably.
Man, but
Okay, so now that we've gotten the title crawl out of the way.
Okay.
now we've managed to work our way through the title crawl.
So I'm mad that it wasn't Korriban. They didn't call it Korriban.
Well, Korriban hasn't been canon for a while.
They have been it has been recanonized in the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
When I was reading up about
makes me
Korriban,
happy.
they call it a different name though. It's called Morabon.
So that's not canon. It's Morabon that's canon.
They said it's the same planet. It just goes by different names.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia.
Is it Wikipedia Legends or Wikipedia Canon?
Canon. They actually have two separate things. It's all like click this button for legend, click this button for canon.
Man, no wonder it's all just Dathomir now.
Yeah, it's all Dathomir now.
Guys, why can't we go back to Dantooine? Why can't it all be Tatooine?
Dantooine is too far out of the way to make a proper display of power.
Thank you.
They're on Dantooine.
Literally, no one's on Dantooine.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason they didn't do it.
I like, and I can't remember which one of you looked it up and found out, but I think it might have been you, Josh, that looked up that first planet.
Oh yeah, when Kylo gets the first like Sith holocron, Wayfinder.
Thank you.
It's a Wayfinder.
That was according to the visual dictionary for the movie.
Yes.
Which I need to get a copy of. Apparently, this one's way more expansive and
I want
way
it.
bigger
Nice.
and has apparently a lot of information in it.
Nice.
Is that planet was Mustafar?
And I think that's and I'm sitting
That's
there
rad.
and I'm also like, that doesn't seem. And immediately I caught myself. I was like, freaking planets have different biomes.
No,
not
single biome
everything
planets.
about Mustafar is on fire.
Single biome planets. Did you not see Mustafar in the movies when they went to it?
Yeah, exactly.
The whole thing was just a big lava pit.
It's a volcanic planet.
Unless-
you would be safe there.
This is the
Apparently,
other
there's
side.
enough solid ground for Vader to have a castle on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which has always been kind of really funny to me that Vader would have his castle on the same planet that almost burnt him to death.
I'd like
So
to
you can
think
feel the
Palpatine.
hate and pain.
Oh, you're right.
Well, I'd like to think Palpatine built it and then told him.
No, it was already there.
Oh,
It's just an
Vader,
unfortunate coincidence.
you're not gonna like this. This is a funny coincidence, but you see that up there?
He looks up, and
That's your castle, lady.
then there's a short pause, and he goes,
Yes!
"Give it your anger."
Lord Vader,
But yeah, that
look
visual
upon
dictionary.
yonder ridge. There you will find your fortress.
I love how he notes when he does
Look,
it.
Lord Vader.
Sorry.
That's how he says it. I love it.
Yeah.
There's a little animation that just came out that I'm gonna have to show you guys. It's just called like Palpatine's Journey or whatever. It came out like 3 days ago.
Oh, nice.
It's adorable and it's funny.
Yeah, I wanted to show that to you guys.
Yeah.
I
We'll watch it
I'm
afterwards.
looking forward to it after this.
But yeah, that visual dictionary also did specify that body that Palpatine is in fact a clone body that
Oh,
is
perfect.
very inhabited.
Because that's what I was wondering. It's
Yeah.
like it's a clone
So
body.
they're all degrading clones that he's been
Yeah.
using.
So I
Yeah.
guess the Snoke ones are just imperfect clones, I'm assuming.
No, I like that. I like that a lot.
I don't even think that they're clones of him at all. I think that they're different things that he's made.
They're just
Growing.
vat grown.
Like an artificial
thingies.
life form.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like an
maybe.
artificial life form.
Yeah.
With raw strength in you.
Yeah.
Strike me down.
Which presumably means Palpatine was probably puppeting Snoke throughout those movies.
That's I think it's
Yeah.
heavily suggested that that's what
Yeah.
he was doing the whole
Yeah.
time.
From the shadows of the Empire.
yeah.
Of course.
Snoke
Always
isn't.
from the
Hey, you
shadows.
remember all those Snoke is Palpatine like
Yeah.
theories
Oh, yeah.
that are around? Kind of were
Hey,
right.
they- yeah.
Turns out
Exactly.
they're kind of half right. Alright.
And Raylo happened.
Yeah,
It did.
Raylo
However,
happened.
Much to the detriment of that movie.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I did not like that.
Yeah,
No, that didn't need to
was
happen.
really bad.
I will take the L on this one and be all like, I actually kind of like it. I thought it was kind of cute.
They
So-
felt too close to me for that to really work.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't feel
They need to be a little bit less involved with each other.
Yeah, I was
Felt
gonna
more
say,
sibling-ish
like
to me.
they didn't. Yeah, like I don't feel like their relationship suggested throughout the movies would suggest anything like that.
No,
I
totally
can
agree.
see the threads
They did
Yeah.
hint
where
at it a
where
little
it
bit.
could be established,
It
but
wasn't very well done.
No.
I knew exactly where it was going as soon as she said Ben. As soon as she was all like, I want to talk to Ben. And I was all like, oh, they're going to get romantic
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like-
I wanted to take your hand, but Ben's hand.
That exactly right
Yeah.
there. I was as soon as like that happened, I was all like, oh.
See, the thing is, I didn't even pick up on that. When I heard
Yeah.
that, what I was hearing was just them hammering, punctuating, yeah, he's redeemed now. So they're
Right.
calling him Ben instead of Kylo.
Well, a lot of the stuff
And then
they
they kiss.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff they
that
did
too. That too.
could have theoretically been platonic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that, in my
They
mind,
were
I saw it as
keeping the option
platonic.
open the whole time.
I feel like at most, if it was like a hug, like I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, a hug
Me
would have
too.
been
yeah,
good
I
too.
would have preferred a hug.
See, I keep thinking back to Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
At the ending of
yeah,
that,
exactly.
they don't kiss,
Yeah.
even though
They hug.
they hug, even though they are in a way romantically involved, and then after
Yeah.
the movie they are in fact.
I feel like it should have ended with them high fiving.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they needed to both get up, start jogging away, slow motion, and then jump and high five each other.
Yeah.
And then you hear it in slow motion go, yeah!
Don't you
Forget about me!
But yeah, I wanted it to be more of a platonic thing, and like Pacific Rim has made me go like I'm tired of seeing people that are kind of close then just kiss at the end of a movie.
Yeah.
It's a trope to me now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
An
annoying.
annoying one, yeah.
But you know,
Well,
they
you know,
did it.
enough platonic hugs in movies, you won't like that anymore either.
That's true. That's
I could
Yeah.
never get enough of platonic hugs.
And-
Give
then
me
you
all
got-
the
well, then you gotta
platonic
do
hugs.
hand holding.
Yeah.
Lol, lewd.
But yeah, not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Palpatine just going, hey, I don't like those guys in the sky. I'm just gonna go ahead and shock their tits off real quick.
As soon as that started popping off, I looked over at Pie Man and he's rocking in his seat.
Yeah.
I
going,
was-
yeah,
The fact that they like recanonized Force Storm is pretty cool.
I am the Death Star.
I am the Senate.
Is that what you wanted, Pie Man? Is that you wanted him to just scream unlimited power as he shot at
It was as soon as they not announced, but it was revealed that Palpatine was coming back. I was just hoping, just go whole ham with it. Just make him a super evil dark wizard necromancer lord, and they did.
And
They
he
did.
loves it.
So
I absolutely,
He's so happy to be what
absolutely
he is.
adored Palpatine's gigantic evil fortress monolith of darkness.
yes,
His big evil cube.
his big upside down pyramid. You know he's bad because it's upside down.
Man, I gotta say, like, I was getting we brought it up before
With the
but,
necromonger statues.
Yeah.
And they never explain how you get in it.
Yeah.
Well, there's that little thing you jump through.
Yeah.
But like I was seriously getting some like Malachor 5 vibes from that planet.
Oh man.
Really?
Yeah.
Malachor 5 has got like a different. Yeah,
It's got a different environment, but I feel like it's a similar feel with
Yeah.
like the constant force storms and
Yeah.
like barren, lifeless planet.
Like this
Yeah.
is bad place.
The only difference is that like Malachor has more of like an environment because you get like shipwreckages from like the Mandalorian Wars and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when Palpatine has got like both Rey and Kylo on their knees and stuff, and he's about to like start sucking the juice.
Yeah.
He's gonna hit that jewel.
As soon
Man, he
as- right
ripped such a fat life siphon.
Just rip some fat life clouds.
right before he started doing that, I was thinking to myself, like, oh gosh, what if they find a way to like restore him? If they restore him, it's gonna pop off. Like it's out of control. And then he started doing it, and like he did it a little bit, and like I look over at Pyman, and there is just glee in his eyes as he's restored. And I was watching it, like his hands are coming in. It's like that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And then his eyes turned yellow,
Yep.
and they started glinting in the darkness. I was all like, "He's back."
He's back. He's probably stronger than he's ever been.
You said before,
Yeah.
you were joking before the movie started. What if Rey and what if Kylo, they're like two halves of Palpatine, and he has to reunite them to make himself whole again? And then they did
And
it.
then they did though.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't actually two halves of Palpatine.
It's close enough.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Just really quick, I did want to say, before the movie started, I was just like, I hope that Palpatine isn't actually in the movie and it's something else entirely.
I was expecting.
That's what I was hoping.
Like he was going to be there in spirit.
But no, less
Or
than
like-
that. Like
yeah.
it's just a recording of him.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
half
yeah.
expecting.
That's what
them to
I
do
was
that.
wanting. But
Yeah.
after he was there and he started doing palp things again,
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna accept this and go for the ride. And throughout the ride, I was,
Yeah.
happy.
And they get it
Yeah.
out of the way at the very beginning too.
Yeah.
They don't like lead you around.
That's what I mean. Like, imagine if the entire movie was teasing that.
Well, they couldn't. There's no way that they could and still tell a story because
Right, exactly.
we're running out of time.
Exactly.
There's no time.
There's no
There's
They'd
no
time.
have
time.
to do it. They'd have to do a fourth movie.
Yeah.
But
Like, I feel like that bringing that up kind of just overall encompasses my feelings on that movie, which is kind of a rough, janky start to a pretty good ending.
I enjoyed it a lot.
man, it was just going off as soon as Palpatine got
Yeah.
back in.
I wonder because when he restores his life, like he kind of looks like the way he did in like Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
with like the yellow eyes and the still messed up face. I wondered if he was gonna go back to looking normal.
He's back to young Ian
I
McDermott.
thought
Yeah.
he was gonna pause and then go boom and keep
yeah.
going
Yeah.
Yeah.
until he was young again.
Yeah, I honestly, I was actually kind of wondering the same thing. Like while he's actively restoring himself, I was all like, "What if he goes young again? What if he goes young again?"
Yeah.
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, like
I do it?
pre-scars.
Do it.
Hey, all right. He did say do it though.
He did
one
say
time.
say
He did say do it.
Yeah.
He says a lot of things.
He does say a lot of
There-
fun things that made me
there-
really
yeah.
happy.
He says
Unnatural.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
some would deem as unnatural.
He might as well have been looking right at the camera.
That was so good.
he also said
fulfill your destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he said unnatural, I thought it was really nice that he did a slow villain turn to the camera.
It was, yeah, we got at least a few more Palp villain turns.
Yeah, he did several of them.
So
Look, I'm just gonna say I didn't want Palpatine in this movie, but after the movie started and got it going, I was just all like, I'm loving Palpatine in this movie.
I'm gonna show you this this meme I found in Pokemon, but it has to do with Star Wars.
Oh, perfect.
Where it's that one I sent to you
Oh,
about,
yes.
about
Yeah.
Is there any way to share memes on screen?
Oh yeah, this
I can-
is gonna play out really well.
If I
So-
remember, because I'll be editing this later, I'll try and put this meme on the
Yeah, that'd be
screen.
perfect, thank
I was
you.
gonna say this is
Oh,
gonna
he's
work.
got it. He's
Yeah.
got it.
This is gonna work out really well for an audio form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, I'm already aware of that.
Watch the video version.
What? This is only audio? I'm kidding. Anyway, so going back to holy cow. Sad Chewie is probably the
Oh my
look like
God.
that was so
Yeah.
that was intense.
I legit cried real tears.
I'm
Yeah.
glad Chewie was actually sad because he wasn't really.
And with the way it sort of
Yeah.
feels like it is that like he was pretty hurt that Han died, and Leia was the last of them.
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
It was the last.
That was the
true
last of
clo-
his friends.
of his super close
Yeah.
friends.
Did
from
you?
that first adventure?
How did you guys like the part where Leia finally laid down to die and she was bathed in shadow and it was totally her and not?
Yeah, it was absolutely
Like, as soon
100%
as- the entire time I'm watching the movie, I was all like, "All right, so where are we going to get the break? Like, where,
Yeah.
where's
Where's
it
the
going to be?
scene?
That we
Where's
can
the
see-
scene?
Where's the scene?" And then we saw it, and I was all like, "Okay, there we go."
Yeah, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
here's the seam. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
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 That was one thing that like I still feel a little bugged with, which is like they have the moment where Chewie supposedly dies, and then they immediately take it away like a second later.
Immediately retcon.
Like it was so
Yeah.
it was such a fast turnaround to say, "Oh, he's actually captured. Don't worry, audience, he's not dead."
It was
that
such-
that
it was
actually
pretty
kind of
quick.
bugged me.
it
was
was
pretty quick.
such a walk back.
I feel like it was fair because once again the movie's got to go. We can't
Yeah.
stop now,
Yeah.
you guys.
But I also feel like you could have, like, when the Star Destroyer comes back and Rey senses Chewie's presence, I feel like that would have been a better moment to reveal he's actually alive.
That probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be too bad, but
Yeah.
I think I don't know
With
if the,
the dagger,
audience would be
though.
okay.
Yeah,
with
and
that.
then maybe
Yeah.
still have a scene where they're coming in, but they, instead of showing Chewie, they just say, like, oh, we have some prisoners to, like, transfer.
Yeah.
When they come back,
Yeah.
hint, like, okay, they got some prisoners, but who are these prisoners? And then she senses Chewie's presence when the Star Destroyer comes in. I feel like that would have been a much better way to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like your first suggestion.
It was kinda
Where It's
weird.
all like leave it completely dark,
Yeah.
and then Ray confirms for us later.
I think
Yeah, 'cause that's-
that would have been good, but
'Cause I
I
feel-
don't. I'm not upset by their.
Because that's
decision.
also, like, a pretty personal moment for Rey, because she thinks she just killed one of her friends.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And as the audience, you don't get to feel that though.
Yeah.
Because they immediately tell you, "Don't worry."
Like, I feel like it's
he's
kind
not
of
dead.
wrong
Yeah.
use of, like, omnipotent viewer,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
whatever you call that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
I don't
also
disagree.
agree. It doesn't. It's. I'm not upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like what you just suggested.
hmm
So, all of the Jedi versus all of the Sith. Who
Yeah.
wins?
Well, the only thing you need to win is 2 lightsabers.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
so the three of us were talking about it last night, Pie Man, and we were thinking, like, because he was like, "Hey, Palpatine, you're shocking yourself. Just stop using your lightning."
Stop with the lightning!
And I was just like,
Don't you
I
remember that one time?
Yeah, exactly. Don't you remember that last time this happened? And I turned to him.
The last
and I
two
was-
times!
Yeah, and I turned to him. I was all like, I kind of in my head, I imagined Palpatine when he's going full ham can't turn it off right away.
He has to fully discharge.
Yeah,
It has to spool up and then wind down.
Yeah.
You can't just cut off the stream.
Yeah.
you can't just cut it off. Which is why the last 2 times that he's shocked somebody and he's shocking himself, he just keeps going.
Much like going to the bathroom, you can't cut off midstream.
That's right. I mean, you're
Well,
not supposed
if
to.
you exercise your PC muscle,
Yeah,
enough,
that's
you
right.
can.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that
You've been
if
doing your
Palpatine would have
Kegels.
practiced his
If
lightning muscles?
So
If Palpatine had done enough Sith lightning kegels, he could have cut off the
You're
screen.
telling me Palpatine doesn't have strong Kegels?
I don't think so.
He needs to do more butt clenches.
And can we appreciate the fact that it is now confirmed that Sith do in fact have sex?
yeah, Palpatine fucks. That's canon.
That is canon.
That is canon.
The Sith bang. He bangs.
He bang. He
Because we
bang.
knew the Jedi did.
Or do you
No,
think
they
it was
don't.
just him kind of like forcing around some woman's
No,
stomach?
stop with that.
Sorry
No,
about
yeah,
that.
he just did a Force Ghost implant.
He's just like, yeah, like around Shmi's stomach.
Good.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
All right. So best Palpatine moment.
It was hammy, but I wouldn't have had it any other way.
I wouldn't
Right,
have had
it's
it
the
anyway.
answer, right?
It's the only way it could have gone for
Yeah.
me to not hate
He's
it.
so unapologetically evil.
Yeah.
He loves it.
The throne. Did you see the throne?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all stone and
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
The 10,000 cultists.
Yeah.
Dude, so when he's all like, the next Empress, and all the cultists start singing and stuff, and they hit those first two notes, right?
Yeah.
They hit those first notes. I 100% thought that they were about to do Duel of Fates.
Oh, that would have been so good.
That would have been so good.
I wasn't
Yeah.
sure at first if it was supposed to be a sound effect or if it was part of the soundtrack.
It was them chanting.
Yeah,
so,
I gathered that as it went on. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's them all chanting. Okay.
Yeah. They were all like, da da, and I was all like, please.
No, that's the best part of the movie is the entirety of the gigantic, evil, dark fortress of,
Yes.
of
It's
evil.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. This is our fortress of evil. Over there's the Emperor, and then he goes, waves a little bit.
He's got the necromonger statues everywhere.
Yes. Fine. How do you like his big robot?
His GLaDOS arm.
His
Oh,
GLaDOS
I
arm
love
holding him
that.
up.
Yeah, that he doesn't need anymore because now he is restored.
I like how he's all like, "Hey, I need you to kill me so that you'll become the next empress," and then he's like, "Oh, wait a second," and sucks the healing juice out. He's all like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and back down on that because I'm the emperor."
Oh, never mind.
Never mind. Because he was like, he did that first initial suck, right?
And he was like,
then
"Whoa!"
was like, whoa, why don't I do this all the time?
That was minty.
That was minty. Oh, you two have a bond. I'm going to suck the juice out of that. And then he did.
And then he sucks the juice. It's all like, "Are you two in love with each other?"
And
Gross.
Gross. And then Rey is all like, no. And then Kylo's all like, what? Maybe.
Wait, what? No, hey, let's not be
You know,
hasty.
let's not be hasty here. And then it just turned into... I thought it was so brave that at that point the movie just turned into a Japanese high school romance.
I love how everybody freaked out over Dark Ray, and then it was nothing.
It
Oh,
was,
yeah.
It really
That was
wasn't
a-
anything.
That was a really short dark gray, but
yeah,
I mean,
I already had a feeling that was just
it
going
was
to be
the
a
same.
vision.
It was
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
with Luke though too.
Yeah,
so.
no,
Yeah.
I absolutely, but it was still, she wasn't there very long.
No.
Neither was Dark Luke either.
No, not
Yeah.
really.
So
But I mean, when as the movie was carrying on, I leaned over to Jingles, and I'm all like, I wonder if they're gonna pull the trigger on Kylo getting redeemed and Reylo going bad. And I was half right.
Raylo going bad. Yeah,
So-
it went bad.
yeah.
So
Oh, it went pretty bad.
because I've kind of felt like with the title, Rise of Skywalker, I was like, it would kind of make sense if Kylo went good again. And I was like, if they pull the trigger on Rey being bad, I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it. I mean, it'd be a really brave decision of them to do it. And that's
I knew they weren't going to do it.
They
No,
weren't.
yeah, sure. Like it was.
I'm a Jedi, I am a Jedi.
Yeah, part of me did wonder if, like, since Palpatine mentioned if she killed him, his spirit would pass into her.
Yeah.
I wondered if maybe she was going to take that hit and then Kylo would kill her.
Yeah, and I think that
It's an
would have been
idea.
also a really interesting way to end the movie. Plus, I mean, come on, all those Sith worshippers traveled a long distance.
That
Yeah,
would
man.
have that would have
Yeah.
been really animated.
But then they gotta squish it.
Yeah.
They did get a squish.
And speaking of Skywalker, I think that's another element. I'm not sure. I don't think I really liked that much. Was I didn't like Rey taking the Skywalker name.
I was fine with
because
it.
this
I was
is
okay with that.
I mean, I don't hate it.
Sure.
But I feel like since this whole thing was supposed to be an end of like the Skywalker saga, that like it would end with her when that woman asks her name. She still answers with just Rey, but she answers it with like more confidence.
You know, that would not have been bad.
Yeah.
Why
Oh,
did you look off in the distance for
But,
like
like-
20 minutes before you
I mean,
answer?
like I said, I don't hate that she took the Skywalker name. I just feel like it thematically might have fit more
It's
if
just
she had
some-
just
Well, they
been
were-
more okay with herself just being Rey.
It
Yeah.
was supposed to be they're the closest thing to parents she ever
Yeah,
had.
Sure.
I guess I get that.
This brother and sister that made out.
Yeah,
Multiple times.
a couple
Well,
times.
okay,
yeah.
well, the second time wasn't really a makeout.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I do think it was funny after Rey and Kylo kiss, how he immediately flops over like a dead fish and dies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he
was
might as well have had cartoon X's.
Yeah.
And then, like
And then when he does it, it plays that Yoda death sound from Lego.
And then
Yeah.
you select Gontroid.
she basically just sucked the last bit of life out of him there.
Oh, hey, speaking
Well, it's because I think isn't it implied that he gave her back some of the life that
yeah,
she gave
I
him?
think-
it's a
I think
life
that-
transfer that
Yeah,
he
I
did.
think that's what it was
Because
supposed to be.
there was no wounds to show knitting up. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that
what it
was
was.
what
It
was
was all
suggested.
just life transfer.
Life
Because
for
she
a
was
life.
doing that earlier in the movie. And now, I really liked
that was
that
cool.
last touch.
Yeah,
I
that was
really,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that was
really
good.
liked that last touch of Kylo vanishing.
Yeah.
Because if you needed a clearer indication that he redeemed himself and died a Jedi, that was it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
disappeared. That's how all the great guys go
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and
You
I think
vanish.
also like punctuating that with Leia disappearing at the same time is like kind of a nice send off for both of those characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Also, earlier you mentioned like that would have been the most anime thing ever. I like that big anime beat where, like, you know, Rey gets the juice sucked out of her, but then she gets back up, and right before she does that, she calls upon the memories and all the voices of all the great Jedis before her.
No, she doesn't
Yeah.
call upon them.
Yeah, they call
upon
out.
her.
When
She gains their strength.
she hears all of her previous Avatar reincarnations.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The ancients come together. And
She's
led
like,
her
Roku,
to-
I don't know what to do. I don't want to
Master
have to
Roku.
kill the Fire Lord.
Oh, Jedi Master Roku would be sick.
That would be sick.
He's practically a Jedi.
I was
Master.
also reading, apparently, because we were talking about like all the voices that reach out to her.
Yeah.
I still think some of those are meant to be kind of background voices, but
Sure.
I've heard some people pointing out that there were also like Clone Wars Jedi mixed in there too.
I didn't hear Master Plo Koon, so it doesn't matter.
There's
one of-
been
was one of
kind
them
of debate on
Barras
that. Like
Offee?
some people said they heard Plo Koon, some people said they didn't.
I didn't
A
hear
lot of-
Shakti.
A
so-
lot of people did say that they heard Ahsoka in there.
Yeah, I would believe that.
I think someone also mentioned Kit Fisto was in there
Yeah, I was
also.
gonna say, was
Master
Kit Fisto-
Fisto?
Yeah,
Master the Fisto?
yeah. Plo Koon's kind of debatable. I've heard that kind of go
Yeah.
back and forth, so I don't know if
But
that's the
we
case. Mace Windu was definitely in there.
Yep, we clearly heard Obi-Wan, we clearly
Obi-Wan.
heard Yoda, we clearly heard
Yeah.
Leia.
Oh, we very clearly heard Yoda.
How can you not? He's got a very distinctive
Wait a minute,
voice.
Yoda was in there?
And
Yeah.
we also, and I liked how it ended on Luke. On Luke
Yeah.
telling her
Yeah.
to get up and get back at it.
Yeah.
Can I go ahead and just say one thing about the movie that was, for I don't think any fair reasons, was just making me mad the entire time.
Fair enough if you say it's for no fair reason.
It's not
If,
fair.
if you can
It-
admit it,
it-
it's fine.
It's fine, go
Yeah.
on. Pull the trigger.
I was mad as heck for most of the entire film that she hadn't built her own lightsaber yet and was using other people's lightsabers.
that
Yeah.
did follow me a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was getting really upset. It's
I
all like,
was-
here's Leia's lightsaber. I was like, no! You give her... She has to build her own!
Yeah, I
Get
actually...
her a kyber crystal, have her make her own.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when she was on the island, that would have been the perfect time for Luke to say, you have everything that you need.
Yeah.
And there's, like, maybe, like, a little bench where
Yeah.
he, like, worked on his saber, and
Yeah.
then you see her take her staff apart,
Yeah.
and then you see her build her lightsaber.
That would
That
have
would
been
be
perfect to
great.
make it out of the staff.
I was like,
because
but
her
I mean,
lightsaber at the end looks like it's made from parts of it.
it does look like it's made from parts of her staff.
I like the little switch on it. I like that it's a
Yeah.
little
I like-
rotator switch.
I like the
rather than a
rotator
button.
switch.
Like, that would have been so cool if she had built her lightsaber on Luke's island.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to. I was
Yeah.
expecting that when he pulls back the brick and she pulls out the package, it was going to be like parts.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the fact that it's a yellow lightsaber would have been such a punctuation on her growth up to that point, because now she has the new lightsaber.
Yeah.
Ray is a Sentinel confirmed.
There's,
guess.
Ray's in fact a Sentinel confirmed.
She has a lot of skill points, but not much in the Force.
Yeah,
Aw.
yeah, that's true. So, yeah, it was just something I was just so like, stop using other people's sabers, make your own now.
It also would have made the dual fights between Rey and Palpatine, and then Kylo and the Knights of Ren, like when they trade sabers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that also would have made a pretty cool moment there also.
Yeah.
If she, like, when they do the trick
Yeah.
where they transfer the stuff, like, she transfers her new lightsaber to Kylo, and then he kills the Knights of Ren with it, and then
Right.
they meet up.
Right.
I would have been happy. First of all, I was actually a little bit mad that they broke Anakin's saber in
Yes.
The Last Jedi,
Yes.
but then I guess Leia just fixed it.
No.
I'm just like, you gotta just get rid of
I
Anakin's
feel-
saber
I-
at this
I-
point.
It just needed a few C cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
with that, I don't really like it either.
Yeah.
Like I liked the Last Jedi kind of like symbolically destroying this object that everyone wants.
Right.
That being said, I guess the lightsaber did just kind of get like cut in half rather than explode in a million
It got
pieces.
cracked in half.
Yeah. So like
So-
I could see that being
No, I
repairable, but
can-
you're right. I feel like
I
they
understand
should've.
I understand that they
Yeah.
could repair it. That's not a problem in my eyes.
Yeah.
My problem is that they did repair it.
Yeah,
And they're
it
just
is
like,
kind of a
let's just
problem.
keep using Anakin's
Yeah.
Because
saber.
like everyone is obsessed with that saber.
yeah,
and, like,
I'm tired of the obsession with
like,
Anakin's saber.
and the fact that it's like,
It's not a very good saber.
yeah, it's just a basic lightsaber.
It's never been very good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like Anakin's saber, but I feel like it's so tied to
It
Anakin.
served its purpose.
It served its purpose
Yeah, and like
as a storytelling
the fact
element.
that all of these characters are so obsessed with it makes it kind of fitting that it gets destroyed at the end of one of the movies.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
in my mind,
you have to let the past die.
that's right. Let the
Kill it
past
if you have to.
Kill it if you have to.
Except for the next movie where we're going to bring the past back
Well,
to
Yeah, we're gonna
life.
bring it back
I guess
again.
they do literally kill the past by killing Palpatine.
Yeah. When Kylo got rid of his red saber, that was trash anyway.
Yeah.
Aww.
Only because
well,
it's unstable.
In
That's
that
the
it
only
is
reason
literally
why.
like shoddily built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna go and get his saber that he had when he was still a Jedi,
Yeah.
but he didn't. He just
like maybe
finally gets a hold of Anakin's saber, which
like
is
maybe
what he's been
he held
wanting
on
for
to it
so
because
long.
he couldn't let go of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not even Vader's saber; it's Anakin's saber. So it's like whatever. But I mean, I liked that. I really liked the design of Leia's saber, and I like that they in the movies finally confirmed that she did in fact get Jedi training, was training, but then she stopped because she's all like, "My baby's gonna die."
Yeah. That was one thing I liked. I liked that they finally showed Rey like actually training.
Yeah.
Because it does feel like in like the other two movies, like it does feel like she kind of got like powerful out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And like her power was escalating, but she wasn't really doing anything to warrant the power escalation.
Yeah.
So seeing her train at the beginning of the movie, I think, was actually kind of nice.
I really like that she called Leia Master.
Yeah, that was
and
cute.
she was her Jedi Master.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
thought that
actually
was cute.
showing her use the Jedi text that she took from Luke,
Yeah.
and not necessarily forgetting about that, I thought was kind of cool too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also think I do think it's interesting that they kind of explain like the main reason why she is so powerful, even though she doesn't know how to use her force powers
Yeah.
up until this movie is when
Yeah.
she actually got the training and stuff like that. Is because of the palp juice in her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Palp juice makes everything spicier.
Just shove some palp juice in there.
Yep.
She's got 30% palp, so...
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Can we get some more? Can we get
This
some more
one, no palp.
help? This one.
This one right here,
I
it's
prefer
high
palp.
palp.
Some palp, and then all palp.
All palp.
Yes.
Oops, all palp.
Oops. Oh, they strained the juice out. It's just palp.
It's just all in
It's a
the shape
block.
of it. It's all in the
Yeah.
shape of his face going, do it.
Do it.
Why did you do it?
I like now I'm going back in my head about like the act, like the physical act of cutting yourself off from the Force
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And I'm thinking about how you're right about like it should still be seen as a big act, and like I get why they wouldn't let it be too heavy of a thing, but yeah, it should have probably been handled with a lot more gravitas. But like in what was it in Fallen Order? Fallen Order, you're saying because now we're talking about Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Are we switching gears?
So no, it's
we're
all
just-
the same.
oh,
It's
oh.
all
It's all-
Star
it's all the
Wars.
This is all just a steaming
Yeah.
pot of Star
spoilers.
Wars.
It's a hot. By that you mean hot pot, yeah.
Yeah,
A
it's a
big
hot
old
pot.
hot pot of spoils.
Yeah.
All I can
Yeah.
imagine is a pot full of
But yeah, there's
rotten food.
there is a character that's on your ship crew who was like a former Jedi, but she cut herself off from the Force.
Yeah.
After like a bunch of stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And then near the end of the game, she just concentrates like a little bit off screen, and then suddenly she can use the Force again.
Because I'm wondering, like, did she just cut it off because of like the pain of the dead Jedi, or
Sort of what happened was the second sister, the main
Yes.
one of the main bad guys, is
the
actually
one with the pretty face?
yeah, the one with the pretty face.
Yes.
That was her apprentice.
Oh.
Her apprentice Trilla. She became one of the Inquisitors.
Okay.
And then when she mentions getting tortured by the Empire after getting captured,
Mm-hmm.
they reintroduce them back to each other after she becomes an Inquisitor.
Yes.
And then her name is Seer, her master, the one that joins you.
Right.
She pops off with like dark side power and like busts herself out, but because she's so afraid of tapping back into the dark side again, she just cuts herself off from the Force and makes the decision to not live as a Jedi.
Okay.
So-
Yes.
So the Inquisitors,
Yes.
hot, right?
At least
That-
one.
That one is.
That one is.
Yeah, believe me, none of the
I
rest
saw
of
I
them.
saw a little movie clip of some kids that went to Galaxy's Edge,
Yes.
and they get really quick saber training,
Yeah.
and they all get their own lightsabers.
Yeah.
It's all like, here's a bucket of lightsabers, pull one out.
Yeah.
It's all like, okay, so you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and they do like the moves. It's like, okay, everybody now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Oh no, it's Vader and the Inquisitor. Everybody line up and do the 1, 2, 3, 4 on them, and then walk away.
Nice.
and so all the kids do 1, 2, 3, 4, and the lady who did the Inquisitor. No, she was selling it though. She was like hunching,
yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
I was just all like,
Girl.
Deep nasal sniff.
So
deep.
you may
inhale.
get the same feeling from the girl at Galaxy's Edge who plays Galaxy's Edge, Rey. I've seen her
She's cute.
she's very cute.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
But I mean, Daisy
But then
Ridley's
again-
cute.
but then
Why
again,
are we
like-
talking about this?
But then again, all the
Spoilers
Disney
for Galaxy's
princesses are all
Edge.
really pretty too. All
Yeah.
like over at Disneyland and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's infuriating.
You have to be attractive to work at Disney.
You do.
Unless you
Yeah.
wear the suit.
Unless you're in a suit. Because here we have Epcot, and Epcot is where all of our employees are going to live. And it's going to be the perfect society.
Oh, did you guys hear that Disneyland, specifically Disneyland, none of the other resorts,
Yes.
Disneyland in California is under a class action lawsuit right now
Really? Why?
What happened?
because they have not been paying their employees living wages. They've been paying them the minimum, but to live in Anaheim,
Yes.
it's really expensive.
yes.
And so employees are having enough to eat, take care of their family, but not live in a house.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
many of them are
that's a
living in
problem.
cars and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a
And
problem.
so, like, there was this thing that all of the parks,
Yes.
the resorts and parks over in Anaheim,
Yeah.
they all had to follow this thing where they all have to pay a living wage, which the minimum is like $12.50 or something like that.
Yeah.
But the living wage needs to be bumped up to at least $15, and it's
Yeah.
gonna keep going up because they had like a thing.
Yeah.
But Disneyland Resort somehow
Got
like
it, yeah.
they had like an agreement, but then they backed out of the agreement, and because of that, then for some like weird way didn't have to adhere to the thing.
They found like a loophole.
They found like a loophole.
They used legalese to get out of the obligations.
They used legal to.
Yeah.
I don't think he would.
No,
help
he
them.
wouldn't have helped them.
No.
I can't say I'm really that surprised.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
because it is worth remembering Disney is a giant corporation,
Right.
so there's going to be stuff like that happening,
Right.
like any
Yeah.
other
and so
corporation.
like a lot of people like to say Disney itself is just evil, but this is like a specifically Disneyland resort was doing this in Anaheim.
I've read a lot about working at Disneyland, and it kind of seems kind of cultish. So
Yeah, a little bit.
I was always
Yeah.
kind of on the edge about.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to work at Disneyland.
No.
But I do really love Disney.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought I'd bring that to your attention as well.
Right.
Yeah, well,
So speaking of one,
So you're
evil
telling me
empire-
that they're not paying Ray enough?
No, it was the performers paid plenty.
Okay.
It was specifically like janitors and like food prep people that were not getting
wow.
paid
Of
enough.
course.
Yeah.
That
Of
sucks.
course.
Everyone else, like people that had to perform, man, they make so much money.
The invisible labor, we can put our boot on them as much as we want.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were getting paid minimum wage, which is still technically not illegal, but is against the agreement that Anaheim has with the, parks and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they really sell it. Like
yeah.
the performers, they really, really, really sell their performances.
right.
Like they've got a live show at Galaxy's Edge.
Of course they do.
It's like those old school like Indiana Jones like live sort of performances and stuff.
yeah.
And they do those, and those are pretty fun. Those are pretty fun. Like they got this lady that shows up, and she's like talking to the audience. They're like, "Okay, who knows how to do a pork crawl?" And all the kids are like, "I do." And like she teaches the audience how to do a pork crawl, so that when the First Order shows
that
up,
sounds
they
awful.
think that it's just a bunch of porks out there.
That sounds
Yeah.
so
And,
bad.
it is,
and not
but check
a
it
bunch
out.
of kids.
Here it is. Here's the craziest part about it. It sells. Like,
Yeah.
when you actually see the performance, it's actually really fun.
I would
like,
imagine if you're a kid in the audience,
No,
that's
no, like
probably
me
great.
myself. Like as
I don't think I could handle that.
no. Check it out. Like I don't think we need to go or anything, but like just watching.
I want to go to
performance-
Disneyland.
Oh, I want to go to Galaxy's Edge at least.
Yeah, so we can make a lightsaber.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Do
so
you have,
like
you have $300 for that?
I'll find it.
I will.
I will find it. So, eventually stormtroopers show up and they're all like, I heard there were some rebels out here. Like, I heard there were some resistance members out here. And then, like, the lady who's, like, hiding from the stormtroopers, like, behind some boxes, she signals the audience and they start doing port calls. And the stormtroopers, like, start looking really confused. They're all like, what? What is that? And one of them's all like, I think it's a bunch of porks. It's all like... What are porgs doing here?
Ew, gross.
Imagine if all of them start doing the crate dragon noise. So all the kids are like,
Specifically the new one, not
Yeah.
not the original
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. But
and they're like, oh no, there's a crate dragon here, and they run.
yeah. But basically, there's like a small back and forth where basically the stormtroopers are telling the audience to shut the hell up. It's really fun.
Oh,
great.
man.
I like it.
But so with and I was wondering like how do stormtroopers manage to maintain like being menacing because they'll patrol Galaxy's Edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll just go around and you're like, oh, it's the stormtroopers, it's the First Order. Everybody pretend to not be a Jedi.
Oh, okay.
Sure. All right.
Dude, if I had a kid there with like my own little kid with me, my own tiny child with me, I would be like, oh, watch out, sweetie, it's the First Order. We gotta pretend to, like, not be Jedi. Because that kid's gonna get pumped about being there. But, who do
I'm
you
not
think-
there and I'm pumped.
I know, right? But, stormtroopers. So, is it more fun or is it less fun to have it that they're actually good shots? Because in Fallen Order, they look like good shots now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good shots now, and I'm all like, okay, that makes them a legitimate threat. But is it more fun to make it that they suck?
So they're supposed to be good shots. They're
I know,
supposed to be
yeah.
like the best
Yeah,
shots.
Yeah.
like
But for
it's,
story
but
reasons,
it's
they have to miss all
it's
the
a
have
time.
to
dual
miss
thing
a
where
lot.
they I can't remember if it was the novelization or something else stating, but like when they're on the Death Star in New Hope, like the stormtroopers are such bad shots because they purposely let them get away because that leads them to Yavin 4.
Yeah.
And combined with the fact that that's not really a Star Wars trope, that's really just an action movie trope
Oh,
in
yeah,
general
sure,
of like
sure.
guys
Yeah.
they're shooting everywhere and can't hit anything.
Yeah.
You also see in war movies,
Weren't you-
anywhere where there's shootouts.
Weren't you saying that, like, in Fallen Order, like, when all the stormtroopers are in a group, they'll talk smack to you?
Yeah.
But then, like, when you get them down to one, they're like, oh no!
Yeah, they progressively freak out the more and more of them that, like, you kill in a group.
Yeah. There's a lot of dynamic dialogue there seems to be in
Yeah.
that. And, so, I know you were saying you can't get enough of Souls-like, but, like, how do you feel that Fallen Order sort of lines up with that? Obviously, it's got, like, the combat's fantastic.
Yeah.
But, like, with the way you can choose your own difficulty, like, where do you feel like it excels as a Souls-like and sort of falls apart as a Souls?
Hold on, you can choose your difficulty?
Yes.
0 out of 10, we're Souls-like.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not a Souls-like.
No.
Yeah.
And then it's just an action game.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
I feel like the game is like a really like big step in like the right direction.
Right on.
Because like more
looks great.
because more specifically, it'd be more accurate to say it's more like Sekiro.
Yeah.
Because Sekiro
Oh, yeah.
is kind of a Souls-like, but it doesn't use as much of the Souls DNA as like the other Souls-likes do.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And I mean, the platforming actually looks really, really good.
Yeah, they just need to tighten it up a little bit or find someone else to sponsor them out of an EA.
Wait, so how many force powers do you get?
Not as much as you would expect. It's like the basic push pull,
Slow.
slow, and then that's pretty much it.
The slow that I saw for that game looks really cool.
Yeah,
The way it's
there's
all blurry.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's some cool stuff you can do with it. They give you it's less about having as many force powers as possible and more giving you more stuff to do with those powers.
That doesn't sound like a fun game.
Just because you can't lightning and choke your way through the game.
Yeah.
Because I can't pull down a Star Destroyer
Or
out of the
use
sky.
force destruction where you just look at enemies and they drop dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, I hope they don't. I hope they don't mess up and just turn the Mandalorian into a Jedi. They won't.
No.
But
It's-
it was like,
Yeah.
can
doesn't
you
make any
imagine
sense.
No, heavens no. But then again,
Well, they thought it made sense when they did it with Boba Fett.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I like that the Force is really mysterious in the Mandalorian. Like, to the point that not even the Mandalorian is really sure what's going on with the baby.
Well, like most people that see the baby use the Force, like they don't say, "Oh, it's using the Force." They're like, "What was that?"
Yeah, and I'm saying I love that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I'm
really,
down with
really
that.
love that.
Why does the child have such power?
Why does the child behave in such a way?
As we're all sitting there going, Yoda, baby!
Makes all your dreams come
What's
true.
the child
The
doing?
child!
The child.
Disney's just listening to people talk about it. Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda. No, it's the child.
The
Guys,
child.
it's the child.
I
Official
actually,
name is the child. TM.
I go back and instead of saying Baby Yoda, I say Yoda baby
Yes.
because it's a baby of Yoda species.
Yoda, baby!
They made
I mean,
my
do you-
dreams come true.
They make my dreams come true.
I mean, let's set the official ruling right now that all other cultures and peoples will follow after this. Baby Yoda, good or bad?
I love Yoda babies.
This is the official opinion, this is the official statement, by the way.
Yeah.
I love Yoda baby.
I don't think anybody dislikes the Yoda baby.
I'm glad.
It's
I'm
too
glad
cute.
because sometimes when you introduce like a little kid element, it'll occasionally throw it off.
Yeah.
But then again, they're following I don't want to say a trope, a sort of style of a style of storytelling that has been tried and true before, and that is the lone wandering warrior and the child.
Yeah.
It's been done before, and it's been done great. And this is another great example of that being done.
I mean, the
agree.
Yoda baby, you could say that it's for the kids.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not a 7-foot-tall shrieking frogman.
That's
So-
true.
Yeah.
It's more bearable because it doesn't
Yeah.
make a ton of noise. It's not really annoying.
and then he occasionally will go up and close his eyes really hard.
Yeah.
He heals you.
Mm-hmm. It's so cute. I can't handle.
It's so good.
This new Moff that showed up is interesting, right?
The Baby Yoda is like Clementine from the first Telltale Walking Dead game.
And only that.
Yeah, like the Yoda baby is like designed to trigger your like Mamoru instinct.
That's right. That's right. We are all memories.
And it's also because it's young enough to still be a baby and not like a kid, but old enough to make stupid decisions for you to yell at it.
That's right. I like how it's small, but it seems to like in a way understand the world around it.
Yeah.
Because it understands when somebody's hurt. It understands when there are two forces in opposition. Because, he was all like, oh no, Mando needs help. I'm going to choke this lady.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Also, oh gosh.
You were talking about the new regional governor.
Yes, and this new Moff that showed up. I think that's very interesting.
Don't address it by the official title. Don't do that.
He's a Moff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name because I need to watch it again. But
The
yeah,
Moffs were regional governors.
yeah,
Yeah.
Grand Moffs were something else.
They were
Grand
like
Moff talking.
more regional.
They have a slightly bigger region.
Yeah,
They govern the regions.
I guess they govern the other Moffs.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know how the Empire works.
It's like you got managers and you got regional managers.
Right.
How does the Empire work, Pie Man? Oh, it works very well.
How does the Pie Man work, Empire?
We work in much the same way.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting. I'm excited
Yeah.
to see what's going to happen
Yeah.
next.
And
Just
it's
what they're willing to do for this show.
yeah, and from what I'm seeing, it looks like that season premieres and season finales are probably going to feel like this sort of like semi-larger story spanning like 2 or 3 episodes that have more to do with the overarching story versus episodes in between, which are going to feel much more like independent adventures.
Yeah, that's one thing I like the show's doing is finales. I can understand where they do 2 or 3 parters to like kind of cap everything off.
Yeah.
But I like that each episode so far has been like a beginning end story that has like resolution and then they move on.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to leave you hanging with what is essentially filler content.
Yeah. Mandalorian and the kid, they show up, they do a thing, now they have to leave.
Yeah. Like the episode where they're dealing with like that ATST on the one village planet.
Yeah.
Like it'd be a little tiring if they paced it so that like they establish like they have this thing, we need to prepare.
Yeah.
They prepare, and then the next episode they fight it.
Yeah.
And they spend the whole episode fighting it. Like that would be kind of a tiring way to pace it.
I like the idea of the village planet.
It is the village planet with the
I
blue
don't
sharks.
Remember it either.
I actually do have a very hard time remembering some.
I don't remember
No,
all
it
the
doesn't.
planets'
It
names.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't really
I
matter.
love the idea of the village
Village
planet,
planet.
The village planet.
where everyone just lives in little villages.
We have a new entry in the galactic map. It's called the Village Planet.
It's part of the village system.
It's part of the village.
It's technically Village 4.
Yeah, that's right. It's the fourth planet of the village
It's the
system.
4th moon of the Village Planet.
Yes, and I also like the pool's full of blue sharks.
Yes.
Yeah.
The gummy blue sharks.
Gummy blue
There's
sharks.
Swedish fish.
Swedish fish.
But I think my favorite character so far has been that one voiced by Nick Nolte, the ex-rebel lady, and the Mandalorian himself.
Yeah.
Like they've been so far my favorites to see on screen. And now that it looks like the season's wrapping up, I'm getting a lot more of that.
Yeah. I'm surprised at how well they've been able to characterize the Mandalorian despite just keeping him like a stoic face underneath the suit of armor.
I'm glad they're doing that and not
Yeah.
having him be talkative.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so
like
happy
they,
about
they
that.
like the guy that's playing him does a really good job of body languaging
Yeah.
his like character across
And
rather
he'll-
than stating it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he'll do like really subtle stuff. Like he'll just slowly turn his head in a direction to let us know that like he's thinking about something, or he's bothered by something, or something's catching his attention. And it's so interesting that the way that you shoot it and the way that the story is already going, they let you know what he's feeling, and you're right. Yeah. It's so cool that they can do that. And like as soon as they were on the village planet, and that lady like
the village system.
What was that?
Fourth planet of the village system.
Thank you. And like when like she grabs his helmet, he starts taking it off. I was like, please don't fight. Please don't take off the helmet. Don't take off the helmet. And I'm glad that they didn't.
No takey offy.
And I'm glad that they're keeping that on, because I think it's so much more important for the longevity of the series and the storytelling itself that he maintains that image. Mm-hmm. If we were to really break it down to its bare bones and only take his movie appearance, what was Boba Fett? He was more or less just the helmet.
Yeah.
And not much else. Then now we have that in the Mandalorian.
Cool dude.
And the funny thing with that is the fact that I don't think Boba Fett was even intended to be a character.
Exactly.
Really.
Like much like how people blew up Admiral Akbar to be this huge character, he was actually like a bit part in episode 6.
Exactly.
So when people were mad that he got blown up in episode 8, it's like, well, it kind of makes sense. I mean, he wasn't that important story-wise.
Yeah. But don't worry, guys. In case somebody decides to try and no-clip through the Mandalorian's helmet, there's another helmet underneath.
Thank you.
It's actually just blank space. They didn't program ahead.
They didn't program ahead in there.
He's Master Chief, so they'll have a scene where he takes his helmet off, but his head will be obscured. If you use camera tricks to look, you'll just see another helmet.
I was gonna say they've already done that.
Yeah.
There was a shot where he takes his helmet off and starts eating, and he's like off screen.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, and if you use a no clip trick,
to see him, he's just got another helmet on.
He has to. This is the way.
This is the way.
I've been saying that at work to another one of my coworkers.
Yeah.
He's an older guy.
Is he getting irritated with you?
No, he loves it.
It has to be the way.
No. Check it out. So he's been watching The Mandalorian too.
Oh, okay.
Cool. And I figured that was obvious. But he and I will have done that periodically between the two of us, where like he'll give me some instruction. He's like, hey JP, we need to get all these 2x6s moved over here so we can cut them down to 18/3/8. And I'm all like, all right, I can get right on that. And he's all like, what? All right, catch you in a bit. This is the way. And I was like, this is the way. And now, with a little bit more, we now have a semi like call and response now, where it's like, he doesn't say this is the way anymore. He says, I have spoken. And it'll put up his head like that. And then I will go back with, yes, sir, this is the way. And like that.
You're bonding over Star Wars.
Yeah. And it's only us two in the entire shop.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Because he's also like a big movie buff and stuff.
Yeah.
We were already pals before this. But,
I just hope they keep all the sets for the Mandalorian as filthy as humanly possible.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. You were mentioning that before. You're like, I love how dirty
I do. I love how just grimy and gross everything looks.
Dude, we're out on the Outer Rim.
Exactly.
Nobody takes a bath out
That's
here.
why it's so awesome.
Like even the stormtroopers that are with like the client in the first like couple episodes,
They look like trash.
They look like trash. Like their armor is like rusting.
Oh yeah.
I feel like a couple of them are really skinny looking too.
Yeah.
Like they haven't been eating.
Underneath.
You guys want to know something cool?
What's that?
So there was a scene where they needed a ton of stormtroopers, and I think we just saw that scene in the latest episode.
Yeah.
So they didn't have enough stormtrooper sets to suit everyone up. So they were going to try and figure something out. But somebody decided to get a hold of the local branch's cosplay group, the 501st Legion.
Those guys don't mess around. Guys, the 501st in real life, like the cosplay group, they don't mess around.
They don't mess around.
Yeah,
they got
serious
those guys
cosplayers.
to come be extries.
Dude,
That makes sense.
To fill out the extra
If
space.
you need Star Wars bad guys, like they're the guys you would call.
Do you know? Like, have you guys seen those big, massive group shots the 501st like to do sometimes?
Yeah.
They're
great.
so impressive.
Yeah.
Because it's literally like almost like 300, maybe like 400 people, all in their perfect, pristine like a stormtrooper, death trooper, Sith trooper armor, and they're all like in perfect lines.
They're flawless one-to-one recreations.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's great.
This was also like a very long time ago, but the Mythbusters episode when they were doing like Star Wars stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of the extras they got for that episode were from the 501st.
Yeah.
Nice. But that's cool. They actually got
They got the local branch of the 501st to come and fill in extra.
That's so good.
Isn't that great?
That's
and
so
I saw a picture of like the Mandalorian with like a bunch of 501st guys with their
Oh.
helmets off. They're like
Yeah!
big old grins. It's great.
That's great.
It's wonderful.
That relieves me almost as much as Ray was. Oh, like, you're relieved to see us. Oh, thank
It's
Christ.
so good to see you. That was really good.
That was
Yeah.
really, really good.
They wanted you
also-
to laugh at it, and you did.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
job.
another thing I liked with Rise of Skywalker, I like that 3PO got a lot more screen time.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice to see him like do stuff.
Yeah. He went on his own little arc, didn't he?
He
Yeah.
did. He had his own character arc, and when he was all like, "One last look at my friends," I was just all like,
Yeah.
That was also.
And then R2 fixed it.
Yeah.
When he said, "But his databases are so unreliable," it was like, yeah, but they won't be this time.
"Yeah,
It's
no,
fine."
he's got you this time."
I love how they're like, the one time we need you to talk, 3PO, you're
Yeah.
not going to do it.
I feel for the guy though, because he's trying to explain to them, no, my programming, I can't.
Yeah.
It won't let me.
Yeah, it's hard baked into my system.
I physically can't do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Man. I've been pleasantly surprised by the actors and like actors that I wouldn't expect to do well in The Mandalorian do well.
Yeah.
Like the ex-rebel shock trooper lady.
Yeah.
Like she's an MMA fighter, like an retired MMA fighter who really did a great job on whooping on some ass when she was doing her thing. And not every athlete does well when they try to start acting.
It's true.
No.
No.
What, you mean you didn't love Goldberg in Santa's Sleigh, my favorite Christmas movie?
You mean I didn't like it when... Oh, gosh. What was it? That Hulk Hogan one with Christopher Lloyd. It's not
Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando.
I was gonna say the only Hulk Hogan movie I can remember is Little Hercules.
No, thank you. But, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that she does pretty well. I mean, she was also in Deadpool, and she did really well then, too.
Yeah, his Angel Dust.
Well, they've gotten a lot of actors that have been in some high-profile
Yeah.
stuff to,
But yeah,
to
well,
work on
like
the
Bill
Mandalorian.
Burr, I was not expecting Bill Burr to do that well.
What's
Bill
his
Burr was
face
in there.
from? I never watched Breaking Bad, but he was one of the villains in Breaking Bad.
Oh, the, like that skinny guy with glasses in, like, the first couple episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know which one.
Yeah, the doctor.
I never watched the show, so I don't.
Me either. I'm really wanting to get like just a really quick edit of oh gosh, what's his name? The Weasley kid that's in Star Wars now.
The what?
The Weasley kid.
Oh, you mean by the one that got, like, blasted?
Yeah,
Oh, General Hux?
Hux. I need a quick
jeez.
exit.
Oh,
edit.
you actually meant Weasley as in Potter Weasleys.
Yeah, Potter Weasley.
Okay. I thought you meant Weasley.
Oh,
as in a
Weasley.
description.
Well, I mean, he is.
Absolutely, yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah, I need a quick edit of Hux from the episode 6, as he's doing his big like horrible speech.
Oh, you mean his Hitler speech?
Sorry, not
Yeah.
episode
Can we
6,
get-
episode 7.
we
It
get
is the
really-
last day of the Jedi and the
Republic.
yes.
Yeah.
Come on, I can't think right now. And just have him like doing his speech and the whole crowd go yeah, and then just hard cut to him getting blasted.
Man, Hux is such a pathetic character
I
throughout all
liked
these
that.
movies.
I liked that general.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I really liked Hux a lot.
And he goes out like...
No. I liked both Hux, and I liked what
Yeah.
that general did.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
new
and
guy.
he just goes out
Yeah,
he
so
does.
fast.
Ugh.
Like, as soon as,
It
like...
was a fitting end, though.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. Another Darth traitorous.
And the fact that
Oh!
all he cares about is just making sure Kylo loses.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's not enough for me to win. You have to lose.
Yeah.
That's right. All the traitoring that was going on, that was fun.
Wow. Like, legit, right before the movie started, I leaned over to Josh. I was like, how many traitors do you think we're going to get? in
Well,
this
are
movie?
we counting off-screen previous story traders?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, you're talking about an entire battalion of stormtroopers that lady talks about.
Yeah.
That's right.
That we don't see.
That
So
is-
many traitors.
So many traitors.
Because if you don't count them, then it's pretty much just General Hux.
Now
Yeah.
count them. Kylo, he's a traitor.
well,
He
did
flip
eventually trade.
flops a lot.
He betrays everyone he comes in contact with.
Yeah.
He does traitorize a lot.
He doesn't know how to not.
Darth Traitorous the traitor.
You know?
So many traitors. It was great.
Yeah. So many
It
traitors.
was fun to see Pippin.
Yeah, it was fun to see
Yeah.
Pippin, right?
Yeah.
And Charlie from Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. You know, I knew him from Heroes first before I knew he was in Lost.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Back when he was reading minds.
But yeah. All in all, I really enjoyed the movie, and I really liked the sequel trilogy
Yeah.
as a whole.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Overall, I've had fun with it.
Yeah.
Guys,
And now I'm looking at Pie Man waiting for him to be all like, "You all are fools!"
You really are.
yeah.
Force Awakens is fine. Last Jedi is terrible, and this movie was alright. It was serviceable. It was the best I could hope for. I think the
Last
fact that
Jedi was pretty good.
don't say things like that.
There was big
Man,
problems in Last Jedi.
episode
I'll give
1 and
that.
we're already splitting your fan base in half. What a bold power move.
No, we are all one.
We are all
So
one.
all the fan base has to be one too, because
We all need to be united for that one day when the normies will finally say enough is enough of
did you
us.
just say normies?
Yeah, I did.
Unironically?
Yeah.
Ew.
I know, it's
You're
awful.
starting to lose me
Yeah.
now.
It's all good. It's just a joke.
Yo, it's just
We
a
may
joke.
disagree, but we don't hate one another, and that's what people are forgetting.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But no, if you don't like what I like, then that means you personally hate me.
Exactly.
I think that's how that
Plus,
works.
I'm still pushing that storyline about the Great Pyman War.
And because I don't overall like a movie, that means that I absolutely despise and hate everything involved with it.
That's right.
Yes.
And I
That's
need to
right.
go. I need to go on people's Instagram accounts and harass them.
That's right.
That's right.
On people who are
Yeah.
just doing their job.
Yeah.
Yep.
To be clear, don't do that.
Don't-
That's
please don't
terrible.
do
Please
that.
don't do that.
Never do that.
Please leave Ryan Johnson alone.
I like how
Come
people
on.
have been saying, seeing these other... They saw The Last Jedi, and they call him, a horrible director, and then they watch some other movies that he's directed that are, not Star Wars, and they're, actually shocked that, those movies are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's he's directed other movies, just because maybe The Last Jedi didn't have, wasn't hitting, 100%.
Can you name any directors that bat 1,000?
Yeah, exactly.
Not even Martin Scorsese.
Scorsese?
No,
I mean,
not even him.
No.
I'm kidding.
But it's
We all know that's not true.
Yeah, it's just because one movie he did maybe wasn't that great, that doesn't mean
Yeah.
every movie in his filmography is terrible.
Right.
And if you don't like someone's character, that doesn't mean that the actor who played them deserves your hatred.
That's right.
Exactly.
All in
Except
all-
for General Hux.
Except for General Hux, he deserves to
He's
get
so
blasted.
hateable.
Yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so fun to hate.
He is fun to
He
hate.
is really fun.
Guys, I really love Star Wars.
I like it too.
I love Star Wars so much.
Yeah.
I
It's
will
not.
never not love Star Wars.
Yeah. Star
Even
Wars
though
has-
I may despise some things about Star Wars, I'll always love the baby.
Yeah, Star Wars
The
has
baby.
been with me from the beginning, and it will continue to be with me.
Exactly.
right.
And then one day when I am older and I will have my own younglings, I too will strike them down. And not just the women. Not just the men, but the women and the children too.
And then I won't say anything, and I'll continue to love you regardless and never question you again.
I feel like what happened to Padme was a little bit her fault.
Especially after I get pregnant.
After
Yeah.
choosing to be with a man that has already confessed to being a murderous psychopath.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah. Oh man.
You turned it against me. You've done that yourself.
I've always dreamed that in Revenge of the Sith, during the scene where they're watching the younglings being killed, I never would have thought. And then Padme goes,
Okay. About that. And then he went as Vader and genocided the Tusken Raiders again.
Just for good measure, yeah.
Yeah, in the comics.
Yeah, in the comics
he
he did it
went
again.
back and re-genocided them.
Re-genocided.
I like to think every year on his birthday he goes and finds a village of Tusken
wipe
Raiders
out.
to wipe out.
Oh shoot! That reminds me, like that super cool moment in The Mandalorian. I can't remember what number of episode it was. It was like 5 or 6 or something, where they're out on Tatooine. They run into the same people, and then they do that little bit of sign language. And Josh, being the true hero that he was, looked up, and turns out that was an actual deaf actor, and they were doing sign language for the benefit of him. And I was all like, "That's brilliant! That's
that's
awesome!"
cool.
Well, it also speaks to like their choice of acting for the TV show.
Yeah.
the Tusken Raiders know ASL.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was really cool, especially when the Mandalorian's doing it and the other guy's standing right next to him going, I don't know what's going on. And then he's all and then the Raiders are like, they let him know that they agree. He's all like, he's going to take us across the desert.
I wish that kid's name was Dash Rendar and then he got blasted at the end of the episode.
Gosh.
I'm too mean to Dash.
Yeah.
I just hate his face.
I do really
He
like...
has a punchable face in that game.
He does.
Especially when he's flying out of the Death Star after it's exploding and he's like,
Yeah. I was there too.
yeah! It is all like, they're all gonna think I'm dead. I'm out of here.
But I like how right after they get done talking to each other, he's like, yeah, they're going to take us across the desert. Cool. And then he just yanks his binoculars away, tosses it. You're like, we don't know what they're going to do with those binoculars, but they wanted them.
I like to think, I want to say that Tusken Raider later, but like the binoculars are hollowed out and it's full of water.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
they're
wow.
Tusken Raiders. They're going to use that to spot moisture farmers so they can snipe them from afar.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was going to say, like,
Even though they're apparently not very
I was
accurate.
going to say, Anakin sounds like a murderous psychopath genociding the Tusken Raiders twice, but I bet the valleys that those villages were in are now way more peaceful.
Yeah.
Well, don't you remember the Tusken from KOTOR? The Tusken Raiders were originally like superhuman people, and then they devolved over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just kind of got, like, shoved out.
Oh man,
Really?
when Rey goes back to Skywalker farm at the end of the movie.
Skywalker farm.
Oh, yeah. Where's it? Yeah.
Sorry, I guess it's the Lars farm, right?
The Lars farm, yeah.
Technically the Lars farm.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I was still on that.
I was
with
hoping
you. I was
that
all like, yeah,
there's-
Skywalker farm.
I was hoping
Yeah.
that their scorched bones would still
Yeah,
be there.
I turned to
never
Smiter.
buried them.
I turned to Smiter and I was just all like, their scorched bones are still in there.
They're still lying right in front of the door.
Owen and Beru are still in there.
But it was great because
Nobody was around to bury them.
Yeah, exactly.
we were sitting there and we're watching that, and you were all like, don't do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The entire time I was all like, Ray, don't you dare stand on a little hill and look at the two suns. Don't you dare do it, Ray. Don't you do it. Damn it, Ray!
You're still on a little hill over the
You're
two
not a
suns.
Skywalker!
Who are you? Oh, I'm Ray. Ray who? Looks off. Ray Skywalker.
Did you just make that up?
That is, the old lady needed to
No,
stand
you're
there.
not!
Yeah, the old lady needed to stand there, squint, and be all like, it feels like you just decided on that last minute.
I wanted her to be like, oh, that's great, and go over to like her mount and like reach inside a pack and be all like, here's the bills. here's the 30-something years worth of bills.
The outstanding debt.
Are you related to Luke?
He owes 35,000 credits in back taxes.
Oh wait, we're on Tatooine, so credits won't
Credits
do.
are no good out here.
Credits are no good.
Whoopie whoopie, sorry.
Whoopies.
He owes
Whoopie
35...
whoopie.
No, whoopie whoopie.
Whoopie whoopie. That's
No, but
right.
he's
Hey,
like,
whoopie whoopie.
Whoopie whoopie.
Hey, you want a vodka? Oh, yeah, whoopie or whoopie.
Whoopie whoopie. That's right.
Mushishakapaka.
Who's talking about that?
Why is Huttese so much fun?
Kachi Rigudunga.
Because it's such nonsense.
It is. I
But
love it.
it's rhythmic nonsense.
It is rhythmic nonsense.
It's done in a way where it's fun to say.
Well, I feel like in KOTOR, especially, it's said with such confidence.
It is.
Yeah. Mushishakapaka.
Ah, man. Good times.
Good times.
It's like when it's like the impression that Pyman does, where he leans in, squints, and goes, "Oh,
Ah, Durka Durka.
Now just replace that with Huttese and do that again.
Yeah.
Or just
Oh, Moro di Hodunga!
Well, gentlemen, it's been as surprisingly 3 hours.
Nice.
So
There's
we've
no
been-
way that was 3 hours.
Yeah.
And there's no way
I'm
anyone's
looking
going
at
to
the
watch
clock.
all 3 hours.
No, I'm gonna
looking
cut
at
it
the
up.
clock. I'm looking at the clock. I can believe it.
yeah,
I'll be cutting it up at
You
least
better
into
cut
two
out
different
all
parts.
the trash.
yeah.
Yeah, all the trash.
Man.
Okay, so we're gonna cut it down to a 20-minute episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 1950.
It's gonna just be that conversation about the Yuuzhan Vong and everything else can go.
But I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
All right.
Right on.
Thanks you guys
Thanks,
for
thanks
coming up.
First of all, thanks everybody for sitting down, listening to this insane amount of rambling, and just listening to us gush about one of our favorite just one of our favorite franchises out there.
Oh yeah, there was so many.
There's so many.
There's a
things-
few.
There are so many things that we love, and I hope that some of the stuff that we touch on is either interesting or stuff that you also love. Even if it isn't, I hope that it's new stuff that you come upon and you're like, oh wow, that is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of how much we give it crap, no matter how much we praise something, I hope that you at least are able to find something that you were able to enjoy with this. Special thanks to you, viewer, to you, listener.
Mm-hmm.
Special thanks to our special guests who come along with us, who are probably going to be around for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Pie Man, thank you very much for joining us.
I'm not. I'm going home, and I'm never talking to you guys again.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna come back. We're gonna find you in your coffin and that you use. They're like, oh, don't worry, he's just gonna sleep for another 1,000 years.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us. Josh, thank you very much for being a part of this.
Yes.
I know it's Star Wars, so it was sort of like a low softball pitch to you.
This is a good place to start.
This is the lowest, softest, mushiest apple on the
He's
branch.
never seen Star Wars before.
Yeah, that's right.
He doesn't even know what a Star Wars is.
Who knows what we'll talk about next week, but it'll probably be posted.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if we're
Gonna
going to do
be
this
Star
weekly.
Trek: The Next Generation.
There you go. I'd be
And
doing
then you guys will just pour knowledge onto me. Because
Yes.
I only know Star Trek.
We're going to talk
as a
about the
president.
time that Picard played a flute in his dream, and then for real.
For real.
If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment on what you think about Star Wars and what you thought about the movie and all
What your
that.
favorite part of the conversation was.
Yes.
And what your favorite tangent that we went on.
And if you know any weird stuff about the
Please.
EU, please talk about that
Please.
too. I want to hear about
Please share.
that.
Hey, do you remember Mara Jade?
Yeah, of course I remember
Okay,
Mara Jade. Mara Jade, who was the hand of the Emperor and then later became Luke's wife.
Exactly. That happened.
Yeah.
Also, playable character in Masters of Terrascasi.
She is a playable character in Masters of Terrascasi.
So,
Mwah.
to reiterate, thanks again for everybody for coming along and joining us on this insane journey in a galaxy that's way too close. And
It's too close for comfort.
Way too close for comfort, and not that long ago.
Rather
About a minute
recently,
ago.
in a galaxy that's invading our personal space.
Get out of our personal space. Okay, bye-bye.
Catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.